Oh, here we go. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Wednesday.
Yep.
Ready to do some podcasting to wrap up our week.
Mm-hmm.
We won't see you guys again till Saturday if you're a freeloader. But we're not here alone. We have a guest. A person wrote in and said, like, hey, Rod, I love your review of Sinners, but also here are my thoughts. And they felt very random thoughts. It felt like they were journaling, but they were writing the podcast, you know? Like, oh, this thing. And remember when this happened in Sinners? And then they said, I was waiting on you and Bassey to do this too much about it. And I was like, damn, we haven't brushed, the dust off of this too much in a minute, but obviously I'm down if she's down, whatever, I'll ask. And then I asked Bassey and I'm like, wait a minute, Bassey, you have a podcast.
Bassey got a whole ass podcast and didn't even tell us.
I'll be forgetting.
You don't promote it very much.
No, you don't. You suck at it. I'm sorry to tell you, you are not good at promoting.
And
Awful.
Bassey's like, also, I don't podcast partner. We haven't even talked about it yet. I'm like, you know what? I have a podcast.
Yes.
We could just come on the main podcast
and introduce y'all to our audience.
And then they know you got a podcast, and then they'll definitely want to hear you, because half of them are just like, I came over from this too much and I stayed to hear what y'all think about other shit. So let me do this introduction real quick. Okay. First of all, co-host of the Idea of podcast, award-winning singer, best female actor in a motion picture 1972, best co-supporting actress 2016 for Fences, along with Viola Davis, Golden Globe winner and future VP candidate for 2028, and author of I'm Telling the Truth But I'm Lying, available for order on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and IndieBound. And Mike, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I just met Mike. I don't know all Mike's stuff.
Was that good?
This down on YouTube.
Nah, it's all good. A random nigga named Mike is good. I'll go by I'll go by anything you call me. It's all good. It's all good. And there's way too many. It's too much. Michael Andrews, EDD. I don't need all that. I know that's Google did that. I didn't do that.
Yeah,
He just wants people to know that he's a doctor.
No, I
actually PhD.
I don't want anybody to know that. Actually,
well, when they say ED doctor now, I feel like it means something different to people.
Yeah, right. See, no. I'm the doctor of the Shannon Sharp pill. No.
Well, let me ask y'all this. First of all, how did you come up with the idea of podcast?
You want to take that, Mike?
All right, I'll tell you. Yeah. So, for a while, I had a podcast years ago called The Idea of Manhood, and that's kind of always been my platform that I've used, just talking about men's issues. I started it right after I became a dad. My son is 18. I started the concept of the idea of manhood. My son's 18, and I started the podcast probably when he was 6 or 7 or 8, around that time frame. And it kind of came and went, and long story less long, my son and Bassey's son were on the same soccer team in Maryland. And so we met each other mad long ago. There's also other connections. I was following Bassey on Twitter, didn't know that she was standing beside me on the sidelines and our son was on the same team. It was bananas. When we made it all come together. And she told me years ago on the sideline, yo, yeah, I might be thinking about a podcast. I have an extra mic for you. We literally met at a burned down Target somewhere in
It's not burned out. It's still right there.
In my mind, the story was better when it was burned down because it seemed mysterious. She gave me a red podcast mic in a plastic bag. It's literally in a Walmart. It wasn't even a Target bag. It was a Walmart bag. And that was my entry.
Now that's why she handed it to you in the bag.
Well, it makes sense also because I do feel like it should be illegal to give new podcast mics out. So
nope. Yep.
They haven't been used. We need
I
licenses.
was slaying. I was Franklin Saint.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was the start of the idea of manhood. And then that ended, and then we just reconnected. We kind of stayed in contact through our sons. They both play soccer. They're both going to college to play soccer. And we just kind of kept in contact. And Bossy was like, yeah, let's do this again. And we just used the idea of, and because it's just so much. Can we curse on here? We can curse, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so much
I don't.
it's what you do. I've heard you. I just want to make sure I could. I'm a guest,
Yeah. Oh, no, go ahead. Take the shoes off.
There's just so much bullshit in the podcast space, man. And we were just, listening to a lot of the same shows, and folks were just talking about stuff. I think specifically the Kendrick and Drake conversation, and it's like, what are folks talking about? Like, people are, playing dumb, being dumb, and just there was no nuance in any of the conversations. And Bossy and I were like, we could like, Bossy is an animal on the microphone. Just her
Facts.
perspective and takes, all day, all bars. And I'm just okay. And so we came together, and it's been amazing so far.
Well, just to add to that, we were going back and forth like voice notes, like just voice note after voice note after voice note, to the point where it's like, all right,
Whole,
listen.
whole episodes in the
And
voice.
and I've been wanting to, like, I love this too much. But all of our shows left, and I love popping in every once in a while. But as much as Rod says you can come back whenever you want,
You can.
it was like an everyday thing where I was like, I have more things. I mean, Rod's inbox, his text messages were being blown up by me during the last year of the whole Kendrick Drake thing. So we started off there, and then the more that we started to talk about different things, it we realized that we had like a unique perspective. We don't always we okay. This is the thing about me and Mike. We agree, and then we don't. So there's like a tree trunk of agreeing, and then the branches just go into like his conspiracy theories, and me being like, relax.
Mhm.
But it's fun. It's fun. It's good to have and I mean, you guys know, an outlet when things happen to like talk it through and talk it out. Especially another reason was like I just wasn't on Twitter anymore. So all the things that I would usually tweet, I didn't have anywhere to put them, but I still wanted to talk about them.
Right.
Well, I think it's a
So it's
very
been really
healthy.
cool.
I think it's a very healthy thing because I think everyone does need an outlet, but far too often outlets are like these. The things we're saying are just helping monetize somebody else's bullshit, and they're not interested in like what you have to say going out to people as much as they're interested in interaction. So like, there's been so many times when, obviously not as many the last couple of years, but me and Bossy, like, we text and it'd be like, I said this on Twitter. What the fuck? Do you see all this? And it's like, yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, that place is designed for conflict and bullshit.
Yes, it
Whereas
is.
a long form podcast, the way you guys break things down, I love how you guys get into the weeds of things and get really raw and honest and whatnot. Like I really, love that part of the show. And I think a lot of shows miss that, because everything's so surface level. It's honestly, they're kind of seeking a Twitter interaction from their podcast where it's like,
Mhm.
oh, hopefully this clip gets people mad enough that they'll watch it, even if they hate my guts, because I don't care if they understand, that bullshit. And I like that y'all show doesn't do that. And so that's, that's one of the reasons and you can feel it, like when you're listening to the show, it's like, this is earnestly how people feel. And even, like I said, even when it's like a disagreement or whatever, to me it's like that's a genuine disagreement. At least, like,
Yeah.
sometimes you watch
performative.
like you watch these clips online, it's like, let's bring in Mark Lamont Hill to talk to a man who believes the earth is flat, and you're like, that's not a genuine disagreement. Y'all orchestrated bringing a smart person in so you would have fights, so you would sell the fights to me on my fucking timeline. And I never
No,
felt
no, Mike, don't make that face.
I'm looking.
That's different than what you said. You said that everybody's acting, all of it is fake. Ish doesn't really believe the earth is flat. That is different than let's let's light the fire and throw it into the thing. That is completely different. That is completely different.
no clips of Ish There's no actor that good. There's no actor.
I think they believe that.
There's no actor you can give instructions and be like, go out and pretend to be a flat earther, and then when they turn the mics off, it's back to like, line, please. Oh, I went to Juilliard. Like, no, that motherfucker believed that dumb
I
shit.
think they believe it too.
Exactly.
All right.
I would listen. I worked in TV and I worked with actors, and I'm telling you, nobody's that good. I wish it was able to do some shit like that. You'd be like, here's like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like, here's the general scene we want to have is this, but that would require me to believe in the competence of Joe Budden. There's a lot of stuff that would have to happen.
A lot of moving parts.
Like Ish was actually smart and was like, oh no, of course I don't believe that bullshit. I'm like, oh, and Mal,
I want the entire world to think I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
You gotta be comfortable walking down the street like that, because everybody wouldn't know it's an act. When you see Mal out, you don't think this nigga on Drake dick. There's no way people are like, nah, he just be playing that on the show. He don't really. Fuck that, man. That was my real name.
But still, I agree with you, Rod. I feel like there's so much of it that is orchestrated. So I think, I think there is definitely levels of folks believing what they believe, but when those cameras come on and they see the viewership go up, I think they just lean into it a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Now that I agree with, and another reason why I don't think he's acting, because all us know stupid niggas. We know really ignorant people in our lives that say shit like alkaline water and all that other bullshit. So if they believe that,
Dr. Sebi.
Right, the earth is flat.
The orchestration doesn't come from that ground of a level. It comes from like the top down of like societally, like this is what we recognize as content, right? And what gets clicks is what gets clicks. So one clip of Mark Lamont Hill talking to that dude should have been like enough in real life. Like, yeah, I can see how that would happen. 10 clips, y'all are putting chess pieces on the board.
Yeah,
so that because you know
that part is orchestrated.
This dude will be stupid enough around this guy being smart enough that you will get more clips. Because I have had to like go on my Twitter and like tell it do not show me this, because it's shown me so many Joe Budden clips in the last like 2 weeks, and maybe my friends are clicking on, I don't know, but like it's all in my For You timeline, and I don't even listen to that podcast. I've never heard an episode, and I'm like, why is it trying to just make me watch Mark Lamont Hill hang out with these guys every day? Like, now I'm starting to judge Mark. Like, Mark, man, you should quit this job.
Go be somebody.
It's not having the effect y'all wanted to have. What are you doing?
Right.
It is having the effect, because it's this. They want black folks to argue about the argument. You know what I'm saying? And that's the money maker. They are entire. Y'all know this better than me. The entire podcast industry, I think, is just starting to lean towards black folks arguing. Like, I'm sure there's white folks arguing. I don't listen to white podcasts like that, but I'm sure that there is a czar of podcasts.
Lucian Grange.
Let the niggas argue.
You sound like Maul. You sound like, okay, Kendrick and Lucian Grange had lunch together and decided. That's what you sound like.
Right.
Bossy, come on.
One dude in the office somewhere just being like,
with his hand up,
turn the black argument volume to the 10s.
Yes, and it's relationships. And that's not funny to go even deeper. And this is just my opinion. And I said this when it first happened. When corporations insert their dollars into something that was initially not created for that, all of a sudden it changed the dynamic on how everything was made. Because know, people did this before, but people used to talk about a variety of shit.
Yeah.
Right. Now it's smushed down to the gender wars. It's smushed down to just like you said, just arguing.
It's Jerry Springer, right? Like, I don't think there was a no offense, Mike, I don't think there was like a podcast czar or a TV. There wasn't like one person who's like, everything shall be Springer. It was hey man, did you know this show is kicking our ass in the ratings?
Yep, and everybody started me like,
You know what when I saw that ish shit, you know what I saw, and I didn't hear anybody else bring this up. I saw Joe Budden chasing Joe Rogan. Because that is the kind of shit they do.
Oh, that
That is
okay,
what
yeah,
Joe Rogan does.
What I'm talking
yeah,
about.
that's why he's the largest podcast
Yeah,
in the
and
world.
you know,
okay.
Joe's not even saying shit, but just as an
Mm-mm.
entity, that is a
Mhm.
clip that is designed to go viral because Joe Rogan's superpower isn't what Twitter makes it seem like he's just a white supremacist who's like always saying that's not even a superpower. Superpower is being stupid every day. And
Yep.
I don't even mean that as like the insult. I mean that is literally what he does. Like every day I start over at zero. I bring a person in to say something fucking insane. I pretend that it's new information and it's all true. And if
Yep.
someone comes on the next day and says the opposite, I do the same fucking thing. What? Really? So you're saying you think the earth is flat? And
I'm
so,
just asking questions.
right. But so they don't necessarily have too much conflict on Joe Rogan because
Mm-mm.
they're much bigger. They don't have to.
Right.
But I definitely feel that envy. I remember Joe Budden left Spotify over that Joe Rogan deal. Like that envy, that I need a bigger bubble. I gotta get, gotta blow up. I guarantee you, they're like, we need to have conversations that are stupid enough to blow up. And fuck it, if Ish is my homie, but he looks stupid, we're just gonna use that. I don't give a fuck that he's stupid. I'm gonna let him be stupid every day, the way Joe Rogan is stupid every fucking day.
Yeah, as long as people click and I'm getting paid, like that's kind of all that matters. But if you're a person with any form of integrity, you're looking like, oh, this is some bullshit y'all doing.
What's y'all's favorite episode of your show you've done so far?
Mm. Ooh, what we were just talking about that, Bossy. Yeah, the episode before last. What were we talking about when I was counseling? What was it called?
About growing older. That one was like the idea of second act or something. Hold on, I'm about to look it up.
Was it last week?
Yeah, last week's episode.
I think it was called the idea of the crossroads. Is that the one?
The crossroads. That's definitely one of my.
Straight up, that shit was so good. Straight up, like that was like I feel like that's a thing people don't talk about that people go through, and it's not the kind of conversation people have in public because it's like it's like your Instagram. Like here's my toes at the beach. Here's here's me in a suit. Here's me working out. It's never like, oh man, here's me binge eating at 3 a.m. Like, no, who's posting that shit, right? So
Yeah.
that's what made that episode so good, was just having that conversation and like kind of going there, but also like I didn't feel like it was sad or depressing. It felt like this is relatable. That's how it felt. You guys should be proud of that episode. It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was telling Bossy, like, during the episode, Bossy shared with me kind of her concept of failure and, feeling like a failure, or I'm using your words, like being a failure to her, not to me, to her.
Get it right.
Right. I'll just correct me if I'm wrong. But like in the past, when she told me that, like the natural tendency is to be like, no, you're not come on, you're not a failure, you're Bossy. Like you were on Teen Summit. Like what are you talking about? And I've told Bossy, like in a way, like she's executed so many of the things that like I've aspired to. And I was like, you can't be a failure, right? But during that conversation, the way she kind of broke it down was I understood where she was coming from, and it was so healthy to me. Like it felt like she was so confident in her, in her approach and how she was looking at her life, that it made me feel confident about her. So it was just kind of, it was a healthy exchange of living in that doubt, living in that space, which so many of us like trying to get through and push through and push through and counseling and this and that, which is good, but there was something really calming about us going through that process in real time. Like none of that was planned or staged. We weren't even planning to have that conversation. But it was.
I can hear you, because I've talked to Bossy about that before, and I'm more of a like okay, That's like I respect how you feel. That's how you feel. I would like it to be noted I disagree, but that does not supersede your emotions about. I heard you kind of going through that process as she's talking because it's not something she hasn't thought about. So it was just kind of like it was dope to have that conversation. Oh, somebody a flies in the house. Something buzzing. I don't know if y'all hear it. Y'all hear it?
I do.
I do
All
hear.
right. The phone calling. I don't know. Stop buzzing. Whatever it is. Is a. Oh man. I don't think it's on my side, but hold on. Let me.
It's
Let me
check
mute
speech.
this with me.
All right, hold on. It's not you. You muted. Bossy, you might be buzzing over there. I don't know. Oh, it was Bossy.
Okay, yeah, it was,
She was buzzing
because it was like
maybe her the fan for her computer might have cut on or something. You never know.
It was picking up the
You
sound.
gotta get her a block of ice, and maybe let me make sure I invite.
Block of ice. She should be able to come back on. I made a speaker.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'll just invite her anyway.
Mhm.
But yeah, it is kind of interesting that that conversation and like the uncomfortableness of it. But I feel like I don't know, man. Honestly, that's the last place podcasts have left the mind is real shit. It's like everything's
Right.
so produced and fake now. No one's having real conversations, and everyone's trying to blow up. So, and a lot of people are honestly having conversations they're not qualified to have or
Ain't that the
haven't.
truth?
They're
they
not the
haven't
greatest thinkers, and so that's such a big turnoff. So, anyway, I just want to applaud y'all because y'all show is fucking great. I knew it would be
Oh,
great,
thank you.
but I was like, let me tap in because Bossy let it slip. Like, I'm saying this on my podcast. Like, what fucking podcast?
right? We just randomly talking
Right.
on the show. I was like, oh, you doing something else?
Like, nigga, you been doing this for 5 months? What the fuck?
Publicly bash her, please. Thank you. Continue.
Yeah.
What shocks me though is like I'll be talking to Rod. 'Cause I talk to Rod literally every single day, and he'll be like, "Oh," and I was like, "When did I say that?" He's like, "I'm listening to your podcast." Oh, right,
Yeah.
I did. Okay, right.
Oh my God.
Come on, man.
It's gonna take me a minute. I told you yesterday, like I'm what I need to work up to, and I'm getting there.
How did you
I
even
have a
get
process.
to turn her camera on? Like, what is? Did you agree to this? See, are they holding you hostage on camera?
That's all her. She's like, listen, I'm busting out of my shell.
Let's do it.
Trying, doing my best.
If you like this too much, okay, I feel like you'll love the idea of
Thank you.
if I'm the Kendrick Lamar of Bossy's male podcast co-host, then obviously Elon Musk would be Drake. I mean, Elon would be Drake, right? And then Mike, that makes you J. Cole, which you can't take as an insult because you think he great. So you can't. That's not. So
I'll take that.
there you go. All
You
right.
can have that because I don't want to be J. Cole, so you got it.
Listen, you're gonna start a war in the chat over there.
No, everybody agrees with me.
No, Rod, you heard the story, right? You heard the episode where Bossy went like off the rails.
I would not characterize it as her going off the rails as I was
Hold
agreeing
my
with
truth.
syllable. I agree. Yeah.
What's up? Let's go. Gang.
I think Future would be over Cole if we're talking about who people are saying are the most 3 influential rappers of this era. I think Future is more influential than J. Cole. I mean, if anything, I would say J. Cole, a lot of his impact is about being a one of one. Like he's not imitatable. He's not trying to start a movement. He does his festival, and he definitely support North Carolina rappers. So I'm not like I think he's a dude that thinks of his community like that. So I'm not saying that part, but just I don't think J. Cole was even trying to be like what Future is or big as Drake
trying to mimic them.
Yeah, and I don't, and no offense, but I don't think he got it to be like Kendrick. Like Kendrick, that PG Lang, all that shit, the Pulitzer, that shit different. Like it's not supposed to be no conscious rapper as big as Kendrick. That's an anomaly.
He's an anomaly. Exactly, he's an anomaly.
Yeah. It's like when Nas was talking about like he tried to make club songs, and he was like, it's not gonna work because you're one of one in a different way. If we measure you by Jay-Z numbers, you're gonna come up short. So don't just be you. And now he's leaned into being like Nas, the poet, old nigga, and I'm like, that's a perfect lane. And I think J. Cole's in the perfect lane for him. But yeah,
he won't embrace it. He won't embrace it. That's the difference.
he a little uncomfortable. He wanna brag and he wanna do all the big boy shit, but then like at the end of the day, he really wanna be friends with everybody. He not a hard soul like that.
Nah, he don't. Yeah,
He don't want to live in beef. He don't want like
Nope.
he make
He
raps.
said that shit bothered him. He don't want to live in beef.
He made before this whole beef shit. He was making raps like, "Hey, young rap niggas, stop shooting each other." What the fuck? He was the only nigga saying that.
Gang.
Dog, it's crazy that we're old enough. He the only nigga saying that. It should be a lot of old heads looking out for the young people because they was killing the fuck out of each other.
Yes,
And he the only one like, hey, maybe. Hey,
not really shooting each other.
I feel like I'm halfway between Nas, halfway between Young Thug. We should all not shoot each other.
Right? Can't we always just get along?
Yeah. But Mike, I know you want to retort about how great he is, so go ahead, do your thing.
I can't even. I'm having a hard time here, guys. I don't understand what's going on. I don't like the level of blaspheme is so high. I don't even Impact, Future. I don't even like Future. So
Me neither.
That compares. Yeah. So what are we talking about? The Future?
It's not
the same way.
My list. It's the list of what I'm analyzing. It's like me saying. It's like if I said I don't like Luka Doncic, and then you was like, name the top 5 NBA players, and I just left them out because I don't like them. That's crazy. Like, no, obviously this nigga get on my nerves, but he's top 5. That's Future to me. I do not like Future music.
Oh, I thought you were
number 3. By the same metric that allows Drake to be on the list, Future should be on the list as well. Like that's I can't name No Mask. That's him, right? Or Mask Off?
Mask Off.
Right. I don't know. I tolerate Future to get to Kendrick's verse on Like That. That's the most Future I've ever heard ever in my life. I don't know anything else about it, but I know enough to know that he has influenced a bunch of other niggas that I don't listen to.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're rapping.
I got to give him that.
His influence is crazy. His influence is crazy.
Unfortunately for Cole not imitatable like that. He didn't spawn a bunch of wannabe ass J. Cole's, because I think a lot of niggas looked up and was like, I can't do that, whatever. It just was like, but I can fucking auto-tune my voice and say I smoke all types of promethazines and shit. Like, fuck that. I'm about to get this money.
Right.
Cole is technically proficient, and that's great.
Whenever I talk about rappers, whenever I talk about MCs, I would say 95% of what I'm talking about is just bars. Is just lyrics, how they put words together. It might not even necessarily be content. It's really just how they rap, period. Which is the only reason why I don't even want to say the D word. Let's just focus on Cole. Cole is an elite level rapper. And I was hedging I was walking the tightrope with Cole, like the big 3 conversation. And I told this story on our show, on our podcast, like literally the month before the beef started, my son and I were in a soccer tournament in Tampa, Florida. And we just happened to be there the night of Cole and Drake's concert. And it was like a perfect thing. Like my son, at the time he was 17. Of course, he loves Drake and Cole. And I was like, all right, let's go see Cole. And I was expecting Cole to be how y'all describe him, which is, the guy on stage with the weird cut off jeans, the unnecessarily baggy shirt, the run over sneakers, like trying to look like Bassey calls him the rapper on campus. That's what I was expecting. And he did look like that, but the way that man controlled the crowd and lyrically just barred us down, like even my son, 17 years old, whose like lyrics are not necessarily his guidepost, he was like, yo, Cole is nasty. And we just left there literally.
Like y'all were tired from the soccer tournament, because there's nothing.
The day off.
I'm hearing you, and there's just nothing. You know how when you see like a Maxwell performance, and he's like doing the splits and like there's no Maxwell song that makes this make sense.
Right.
I don't like. I love hip hop. I love lyrics. I love all the stuff that you mentioned. I cannot remember the name of a Cole song, let alone a lyric.
You see what I'm saying, Rod? You see, like this is crazy. Like, what are we?
That's not
Well,
even shit.
I'm not. Here's my thing. I'm between both of you because I do like J. Cole. I do respect his talent. I do think he has incredible mic presence, and a big part of his shit is that he does shit by himself, and that's like the boost that he gets that from his fans that other people don't understand because they're like, why is that a big deal? It's like I don't know, man. Nigga with that type of style not supposed to be able to have a crowd in his hand. It's just.
Right.
He's a very like even the fact that he sang all his own hooks, you know, that the no features thing, it's a real thing. I'm from North Carolina. That was very fucking impressive. You're not really co-signed by anyone. You don't have any fucking big names on your goddamn album. Every song just you, and you went platinum. Yeah, okay, bro. I respect that shit. That being said, not top three. And not the big three. And honestly, if I was taking Future out, I'm throwing in Tyler the Creator.
Period. 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 Tyler. It's Tyler.
You talked about seeing somebody in person. Me and Karen just came from seeing Tyler the Creator like a month ago.
Tyler the Creator did a motherfucking one-man show. I mean, one-man show. No backup dancers, no backup singers, no backup to the backup. That nigga was out there, one man moving across the motherfucking stage, all by his. The only other people all the way, all the way, people,
all the way over the crowd into another thing where he's giving us acting and fucking rap, like
it's everything.
Like it's
he's amazing.
Like, when he goes to play his old songs, there's in the set piece he has. He's literally walking towards a crate of records, and you see like different influences of his, and then he'll pull out like this album. Everyone goes crazy because they recognize the cover. It's like Flower Boy or whatever. He puts it on, plays like 3 songs, starts rapping along, takes it off, brings the crowd down with him. The way he's like moving his body, even the like, because he's a showman. He's not just a rap. He's giving you like visuals.
Oh, you're gonna get a performance.
Him showing up dressed up like the fucking like toy thing with the Igor hair, the mat, like the nigga just built different, and I feel like our generation like 2 years too old to recognize how fucking important he is. And then
was the beast.
Yeah, and but in that concert, all the young people fucking knew. It was crazy. Cause he's not young no more.
No, he not.
He was eating roaches like 15 years ago, dog. This nigga is over 30 now. And it was like at one point he was rapping one of his old songs. He was like, how do y'all kids know this? Like y'all are too young to know this shit. And I was really rapping about some crazy shit back then. Anyway, enough J. Cole slander, guys. Okay. In case he's listening.
Well, just one more J. Cole slander. But you bringing up Tyler, this is what I'm talking about. There's a level of, you can see the through line from where Tyler started to where he's now. Like he's grown his game. He's elevated his performance. He's innovative. These people are innovative. And Cole is just the same nigga that he was 10 years ago. Like he just is. He's 40 years old. I just found out he's 40 years old, married. Yeah. He's got a couple of kids. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what is your life right now?
But that's what's funny. That's why, to his fans, that's why he's dope. Is that he ain't changed. He's the same nigga from blah blah blah. He's just
with the Caesar. He had a straight up edge. Like,
you know what Cole is to me in a way? He's like if Nas never did Shorty Owe Me for Ike. Like if he just was like, I'm actually not gonna chase that type of fucking fame. I'm gonna be MC's MC, and all the rappers will respect and love me, and I'm gonna be everyone's friend. Which is where he fucked up. But I'm gonna be everyone's friend. And honestly, at this point, if you're making the argument, I mean, far be it from me to help out the J. Cole side of the argument. But if I was making an argument and I was a J. Cole fan, what I would be doing is trying to move Drake out of the big three now and say no, Cole should be in there. Drake should be out because look how bad everything's gone from him in a year. Cole still doing it. He just had that fucking festival. He's still putting out songs. I think I would try to bump Drake out because I feel like that's where you and the Kendrick people could find common ground.
Oh yeah, and
they would begrudgingly accept J. Cole into that top 3 as long as Tyler was.
Except for Mike is also a Drake fan, but you know.
Relax. Calm
I'm
down.
just saying. I'm
I
just
wouldn't
saying.
say a fan. I wouldn't say a fan. We're not going to relive this beef. I I respect the way he put work together. That's it. That's it, y'all. Wait, hold on, real quick. Can I tell y'all this one thing? At the concert, right? Cole did this joint. Y'all know the song "Nice Watch."
Mhm.
Listen. Of course, Bossy does it. Get it? You know what?
I don't even feel bad.
Watch, you know, he's like, I'm at the light and then turn in the nice watch. And the crowd combusted. Like I've never seen I wasn't expecting that crowd. We're in Tampa, Florida, right? Mostly white folks in the crowd. You know, it was us in there too. But that was the moment. When he did Nice Watch, I was like, this nigga's in the top three. That was literally I had chills.
So look, everybody got to go see Cole in concert before we can judge.
I
And if
guess
we have
so.
spiritual experience, we got to come back and apologize to Mike. I will accept that. If I
I've
ever
never
see
seen Cole live.
if I ever see him live and I have that feeling of like, damn, this motherfucker they only made one of these, I promise you I'll come back and apologize because I'm always open to new information. But as of right now, Kendrick and Tyler gave me that feeling this year, and I was like, God damn. Thank God I'm alive for them being alive at this time because it must suck for the people that missed this shit. All right, guys, let's talk about Sinners. All right, we talked about a lot of stuff. I didn't mean to get into the coal of it all.
It had to be said.
Yeah. So let me just go around the room and just start with this. How did you see Sinners? Like, did you go opening night, opening weekend? You know, did you get the IMAX, all that stuff? I'll start first with you, Mike, then Bossy, and Karen. You can tell them about ours.
Sure. Yeah, I saw it opening weekend. I happened to be in. Well, there's a theme here. I was in Florida. This not a weird coincidence. I was celebrating my fraternity. My line had our 30th anniversary. Member of Alpha Phi Alpha, if anybody was wondering. And we were in Orlando celebrating our anniversary, and we were just trying to find something to do. And I was the only one that like really wanted to go see it. But we have some of my LBs that they're a little Christiany, and they weren't really feeling it. But I was like, yo, I'm gonna go then. I'm gonna just go. Y'all be okay. But we all went and saw it in one of the Disney theaters, like on the Disney land. They have this crazy like a mall inside of Disney World. And it was, that's how I saw it on the opening weekend. I think on Saturday opening weekend.
Was it crowded or?
Yeah, it was packed.
Okay. Was it IMAX or just regular?
It was IMAX. Yep,
Okay.
It was IMAX. It was IMAX.
Right. Bossy, what about you? How'd you see it?
I saw it last Thursday, I think, and I'm not gonna say I'm not a movie person, but there are very few times where like I have to see this in the theater. But there was something about the way that people were talking about it that I was like, I think I need to see this. And then on top of that, I don't care if I'm spoiled. Like I like tell me the ending so I know what to expect. Like I don't need to be shocked. I don't need any of that. For some reason, every time something would show up, I would scroll right past it or I would click out. Like I didn't want to hear it for some reason. Um, but people were like, you have to see, you have to see, you have to see it. And I was like, absolutely. And then it was leaving IMAX, which I didn't know that was a thing. I thought shit just stayed in IMAX until it went to the Dollar Theater. I don't know. I just didn't think that it was that. So I was like, okay, I want to see it before it leaves IMAX. And it was leaving that Friday, but there was only one theater, like God, like 15 miles away that still had it on IMAX. So I drove out there to watch it. And this is how blind I was in going in. I did not know the vampires were involved. That caught me completely off guard. I was like, hold
Same.
on,
Same.
wait a second. I didn't know any of that was going on. But like I'm sitting there and I'm watching this movie and I'm like, this is a nice movie. Like this is great. Michael B. Jordan's acting his ass off, like just watching, like just very into it, but still kind of processing. I don't know what people
Right.
were seeing. And then it got to the point where I was like, okay. And it was this, when we'll talk about it, but like it was a scene with Delroy Lindo. And I was like, okay. And I sat up. Still didn't know what I didn't know about vampires, but I knew at that point there's something happening and I need to pay attention to it. And yeah, it was the actually I sent money to my cousin so that he could watch it in Nigeria. Like that's how much I was like, you need to see this movie because I need to talk to you about it because he's a very he's literally a genius. Not like, oh, he's a genius. He's literally certified genius, and I wanted to know what the movie was like in Africa because I knew what it was felt like to be American in America and Black watching it. And just to see what the nuance is, like what did you get out of it? But I sat there. Thank God I sat there and cried for an hour because otherwise I would have missed the two ending credits.
Yeah.
But
how full was the theater when you saw it?
It wasn't very full. The whole, I think that like the middle part, like there was nobody in the front. The back was pretty empty, but like everyone was kind of congregated in the same like HJKL bit of it. But it was like 12 in the afternoon, or it might have been 12:30.
And it was a couple
in Crofton.
It was, and it was a couple weeks in, so that the crowd would be dwindling.
Crofton.
Yeah.
Karen, I don't know. I think we've said how ours was on the on our spoiled review, but I don't know if you want to tell people.
And we don't like things being spoiled, so we go see shit like Thursday night. Mm-hmm. And so we went to go see it Thursday afternoon. Now, all joke aside, for me, I just knew it was Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. That's all I knew. And I knew it was Black. So I didn't know about vampires either. I'm going to tell you the truth. I was just like, because I was like, it's scary, but I know it's not going to get into gore because I'm afraid of cat. So I don't like gore. I can do sci-fi, I can do all that shit. You can kill people, chop people's head off. But when you get into gore, I'm like, I'm out. Yeah. So I was like, well, I know it's not going to be like the gore part, like, get into kind of horror. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. So me and Roger went to go see it. And since we go so early, a lot of times it's not as packed, but it was actually pretty crowded in there. And a lot of times for me and Roger, that normally dictates how it's going to go for the rest of the weekend, because the people like us who go like see that first screening, we normally don't want it spoiled. We want to see it before everything start hitting the timeline. And so for me, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I think that I like the fact that I went in blind, if that makes sense. I like the fact that I didn't know what was happening, know what was going on. So literally everything was a surprise for me. And so for me, that's what made the experience, not trying funny, more magical for me versus just having people just talk about it and ruin it and spoil, spoil. Like, I understand some people don't like, don't mind spoilers, but I like the shock and I like the surprise. I like those feelings that kind of, because I want the storyteller to tell me the story and me respond in a real-time reaction versus for a lot of people, and this is just me, not to get off topic, people go digging for shit, they find shit, and then blame the artist for the shit that they knew in advance. Yeah. That don't make sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting too, because like how you heard about it and your excitement level from just the idea of it, I think also was a big thing, because Hollywood kind of missed it because it's very white centric. Black people were very excited about a Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan film.
I just seen people talking about
like
it.
You brought up something right away, which is that you don't even like this genre of movie. Which we could, this isn't really the genre, but the one that in the trailer they promoted it as a horror movie.
Yes.
So you don't even like the genre, but you like it. Is Coogler and Michael B. Jordan.
Like, I'm not gonna miss it. Not trying funny. I will fight through whatever they're presenting to me, because I know whatever it is like, in my mind, him and Peele are like, oh, it's gonna be good no matter what they show.
But that's what I was saying. And I think white Hollywood ain't tapped in ever to Black culture. So they missed that this was gonna be a hit. Like, almost everything I saw was like questioning the budget. Like, why is this $90 million?
That's what I saw too.
Because like before you, and then the first wave of reviews came in, which like a perfect score on Rotten Tomatoes. To which I still think for a lot of white folks, it's that, what is it? Blacks only given perfect. Like, I don't think they believe it. It's when the numbers come in that they start being like, oh shit, this is actually a hit and I need to go see it.
Right.
But it's interesting that all three of us are kind of come from the same angle of like, no, it's Ryan Coogler. We were gonna see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Black Panther. I wasn't gonna miss Black Panther, even if I didn't know nothing about Black or the Panther. I was going to go see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Did y'all?
The thing is, I don't like horror. I don't like being like. There was a portion of the movie when I was just like this, where I was just like, y'all just gotta have to. I have to guess what's going on because I don't like things jumping out and all of that. And had somebody told me it was horror, I probably would not have seen it until it was on television.
Wow.
So I'm really, 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 really glad that I went in completely unspoiled. I didn't even see a trailer, to be honest with you. I didn't even see a trailer. I saw nothing.
The first like it has like 3 jump scares in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like those poor people that they trusted you, Ryan. They trusted you and you betrayed them immediately. And no more jump scares for like an hour 40 minutes. Like, just I don't know what made him make that choice, but he got my ass though, because I was like, oh shit. Oh, it's about to get crazy. And then
Yeah.
the beautiful portrait of Black Southern life.
What were you gonna say, Mike?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do y'all remember when the previews first came out? Like, they've been out for a minute. They were out for a while, and I didn't know probably for the first 6 months that it was a horror movie. Like, you saw the piece, the parts where with blood on people's faces, but I was like, are they cannibals? I didn't know what was happening, but they kept on. The first wave of commercials was only showing Michael B. Jordan with the gun at the end. Remember, he was like hopping out the car. Like, I was like, oh, it's a war movie. It's Vietnam. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Action.
Well,
Yeah.
for me, it was Haley Stanfield, whatever, when she's got the blood on her mouth and she like, y'all gonna let us in? And they showed them like clawing at the door. I was like, that look like vampires to me. Those are vampire rules in the trailer. Because you don't have to let in no other motherfucking monsters. Everybody else just bust up in that bitch. So I was like, okay, obviously hinting towards some type of vampire thing, but it was interesting to hearing the coverage, because I think a lot of the coverage was like the vampire movie, the black guys making the vampire movie. And I'm like, I don't think Ryan Coogler is as straightforward as you guys are writing him to be. He's not gonna just give us a horror, like a Robert Rodriguez horror movie. There's gonna be more to it, because he's too thoughtful. He's the Kendrick of Hollywood.
I was about to say that. I was about to say exactly that. Whatever it is that they tapped into, I thought so. I thought about Kendrick so much while watching the movie. Like, just I was like, this is, and I think also I was telling somebody, I hope they're all in the group chat together because there's no way, if they know each other, there's no way that Ryan didn't have input on the Super Bowl halftime show. You can't tell me it's a coincidence. You can't tell me that, we just so happened to be doing no, y'all talk to each other. Y'all had notes. Y'all are like, I can't use this part, so you can use it. Like, I refuse to believe it was just coincidence.
Yeah, Kendrick's trying to get into Hollywood too, so I feel like they had to run across each other at some point. All right, so let's talk more about the movie, right? Overall enjoyment of the movie. Karen, you go first, then Mike, then Bassey.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. It delivered, and it did have jump scares, but like I say, it wasn't like the horrific jump scare, like I'm doing shit just because, like that. It's like the scares had a purpose for me, and I don't mind it having a purpose. And also, a lot of times when it comes to, there's things that, of course, there's certain genres where you can kind of float around and things don't got to make sense, but this kind of made sense to me, because sometimes horror just do shit just to do shit because they can do shit and be like, oh, y'all supposed to understand, bitch, I don't, what happened, type of thing. And so for me, I love the way that it did it.
But you know what that is? I think that works because he's not making a horror movie. I think if he was making a horror movie, they do get really nebulous at the end with like and then the ghost was afraid of Jesus, and you're like, what? You never set that up. That's not the third act can't end that way because you need to foreshadow that that was a solution that could be had,
Right.
whatever. I think he was like vampires are just a vehicle for the third act. They're just an allegory,
Right.
but
Mhm.
he's not trying to make a vampire movie, which is why I don't know, 75% of the reviews that are discussing it as a horror movie are just missing the mark so badly because they're
Right.
like, well, in horror, you do this. I'm like, that's not
No.
what the movie is,
Yeah,
though.
it's not horror.
So you don't do that. No, we don't know the main vampire's origin story. We don't have to know
We
it. It's
don't have
really
to,
not that
and
important.
I'm fine with not knowing.
Yeah, like so I thought that was interesting. Mike, your general thoughts about the movie?
Something that I just thought about and hearing so many of Bossy's takes on Kendrick and GNX and thinking through, I never thought that, dang, maybe they were working together all this time. Like there was definitely some creative connections happening there. But you know how Kendrick used the California sound on GNX to like alter the trajectory of his overall sound? I feel like Coogler used horror, vampires, this genre to tap into a different creative layer of his storytelling, right? I think there's so much similarity there, and I never thought about them together until this week, and I heard Ryan Coogler talk more, and I I brought this up on the show on our show this week, but his accent is sounds like it made me feel like GNX, like, and part of the reason why I'm from Brooklyn, so I just gotta put that caveat there. I
Right.
love I love Kendrick. He's one of my favorites, but GNX made me feel away because it was so California, and I wasn't expecting that. So I would imagine that people that were coming to either see a Black Panther or Fruitvale Station or might not have been prepared to see a vampire movie or a horror movie, however they classified it. But overall, I mean, I think the movie was it was stunning. It was like one of those movies where at the end I definitely sat in the theater after the ending credits, and whenever there's like a creative masterpiece, like I could tell by my chills, like that's a part of my, I had chills so many times through the movie, but it wasn't about the storyline, of course, but it was like everything coming together. It was the images on the screen. It was almost like there were certain images that could be paintings, right? That you could hang on your wall and just look at it for the stuff happening in the background, the way that they used colors, the way that they used, sounds. Sammy's character, Sammy, right? I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know he could sing. Like, so when he started singing, I was like, why they using a voiceover? Like, it didn't sound real. Like how they were saying his voice was a portal to another world. It felt like that for real. Like, I was like, so it left me after the movie. I was like, I gotta go search him because that voice is not his voice reminded me of Donny Hathaway's. Like whenever I listen to Hathaway, I burst into tears. Like not even on those soft stuff, but it's like there's something about his voice that breaks me down whenever he sings. If he's singing This Christmas, I'm like, Um, but there were so many aspects of the movie that were just beautiful, and it was just breathtaking. The initial sentiment I had at the end of the movie before the think pieces and everybody was breaking it down, I thought the initial my reflection was it was about the music industry. Like that's where like my initial brain went, was like this is about specifically on the heels of Drake and Kendrick and talking about culture vultures and thinking about some of the conversations we heard from Damon Dash and Leor Cohen, and I was thinking of all these people like, oh, that's Leor. Okay, that voice there, that's Kendrick. Like this is this person, and it was just such a visceral feeling. And then at the end, I was feeling that towards the end of the movie. And at the end, where they were in the blues, in the blues joint, and yeah, in the club, and the characters walk in dressed, like '90s like gangster. I was like, oh, this is the gangster rap. This is when the gangster rap came in and changed the industry, you know, and all the music documentaries, they always say, and then in 1992, gangster rap changed the scene. And like that to me was represented in that final scene. It was just it was phenomenal. There's just no words. I want to see it again, and I tend to not uh as you all could probably see, I tend to like not believe hype a lot, and I'm always like, why do you really want me to see this? Like, what is really behind this? But there was nothing I could say negative about this movie. Like, there's literally nothing. Like, it was a perfect film to me.
Okay, yeah, it's the J. Cole of films for you. Now, Nasi, what did you think? What was your overall impression?
I it I walked out of the theater crying my eyes out, but walked away saying this is the best movie I've ever seen. This is this is my favorite movie. And I forgot to mention that my son saw it like the week before, and he was like, "It's the best movie that ever." It's the best movie ever. And but when I spoke to him after I saw it, I was just balled up and like still emotional. He's like, "Why are you crying? Did we see the same movie?" And I was like, "Yes." I was like, "Didn't you get the?" And I started talking about it. And he was like, "I got the vampires." And I was like, "Okay." So the fact that he and I, favorite movie, love the movie, best movie we ever saw, both said the same thing, but from different perspectives.
Right.
I thought that is a testimony to how genius and talented Ryan Coogler is, because he knew that this movie had to work on like five different levels,
Right.
and it invited people seeing it over and over again. I think that Michael just blew my mind. Mike just blew my mind because when you start talking about the record industry, and then I was like, okay, and then he comes in and he smells death on the blues, and then this is when the blues and like the fact that we feel so much in our music that started to like die off. Okay, but I was thinking about it from the like the metaphor of black people in America, and like, but I think that like a Kendrick song, all of that is true.
Sure,
On the
yeah.
one level, yeah, shake your ass to this song, but also the third verse is this, and then also it's about Drake, but also it's about y'all. You know what I mean? Like all those levels showed up in this movie for me, and I was so I could see also. I'm not a comic book person, but I did see Wakanda Forever and Black Panther. But I saw him use the Marvel formula to
Mhm.
create something so mind blowing, to the point where I'm looking at him like after I got back and I was like, who are you? Like seriously, who are you? Like when I get into my mic bag, it's like I feel like people are otherworldly. I feel like you're a prophet. I feel like you were sent here to teach us something. It's the same way I feel about Kendrick, but it's the same level of you're not seeing things the same way that the average person sees things, and the
Right.
way that you have learned to manipulate your talents it's the same way that Sammy was learned to manipulate his talents, and
Mm.
and show a world that we knew existed. Like I think that black people watched this movie and got something completely different. Even when white people understood it, it wasn't the same way that we understood it, I don't think. And the ability to tap into that is so remarkable. And it's doing. I keep bringing back to Kendrick, and I'm gonna try not to say his name again after that. But like, it's like righting wrong. It's like putting things. It's course correcting. It's putting things back on track. This is what our movies and our art was supposed to do. Beyonce too. This is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be fun and entertaining. We're supposed to dance and have a good time and laughing at Drake. But it's also supposed to like sink into our bones. Like that's what black art has always done through time. And it's only recently where we stopped expecting our art to move us.
Yeah,
in
also,
profound ways.
I think also like it's that feeling you can feel as a black person where there's a difference between selling blackness to the world and just making something black for
Mm,
us that the world will obviously glom onto. Because contrary to popular belief, white people love black shit.
Yeah, they do.
If anything, they love it too much.
And
Historically,
I
that's
love
the
it
problem.
to death. Dun, dun,
they
dun.
they have, they have loved to have it for free. They have loved a bunch of shit they weren't supposed to have. But like I definitely felt that in the movie. Like this is some of these moments and cultural touchdowns are so insular and black, but it's still a great movie. You don't have to be black to know it's great. You don't have to be black to even like you don't have to get every cultural reference to know that's a cultural reference. I don't understand exactly what he's talking about, but I got close enough. I don't need to feel it in my bones per se to still be able, which is why that fucking Rotten Tomato score is so high because all them people ain't black. Like
No, they're
a
not.
lot of people just like fuck. I've never seen a movie like this before. The only things I would add to just stuff y'all were saying for me was it's so beautifully, intricately, intentionally done. Every fucking thing
Yes.
is crazy. It is crazy. And the acting, like Michael B. Jordan, I
Oh,
already had respect for my man
Playing
Michael B.
two
Jordan, but I know there's a
roles.
lot of holdouts out there. I will just remind people like he was Wallace
that was me.
first. Like I think as
True.
people that don't think he can act skip over Wallace and go straight to like Michael B. Jordan, the grown up, and they're like, he always do the same guy. I'm like, that nigga was Wallace. I cried for Wallace, dog. That was different. That motherfucker. And then I saw him in his first like big movie role. Where oh fuck, what was the name?
Yeah,
of
we
this
went to
movie?
go see it in the theater,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he wasn't on there long, but that motherfucker
Chronicle.
he stole the goddamn show.
It was Chronicle. Karen and I walked out of the theater, and I said, "Oh my god, he's a star."
Yes, I was like, I don't know who that nigga is, but
He's-
that nigga,
he's like the third-
Watch The Wire.
He's the third bill person in a weird sci-fi white boy movie,
Mhm.
and I'm like, no, that guy's the movie star. Them other two dudes, I don't know what they're gonna go on to do with their lives. He's gonna be in a lot of
He gonna be in
movies.
he gonna be somebody.
Yeah. So
Do you know what my introduction to Michael B. Jordan was?
What?
A show
Friday
called
Night Lights?
Parenthood on
Oh,
NBC.
yes.
That was the first time that I ever saw him, and I was like, I was one of the people who's like, he's all right, but he's always been acting against people that I particularly thought were like powerhouses. So
Right.
to me, he paled in comparison to like a Chadwick. To me,
But
but
also
watching him on Parenthood, but
Yeah.
real quick, watching him on Parenthood amongst mediocre people, I was like, why are you on that show? And so
Yeah,
when I saw him later in movies, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
he was great in Friday Night Lights as well, the TV show version. And then the
Oh, no,
other
he's on
thing
there.
is in this movie, he plays these twins, and I love that him and Ryan Coogler did this because so many people go over the fucking top. He played the twins in a way where it's like these are two black people that grew up together in the same area. They wouldn't be that fucking different. Like normally when you do
Yeah.
twins, it's like it becomes that acting theater exercise where it's like I'm nerd me and I'm jock
Yeah.
me, and it didn't come off like that. And I was like, this feels so much more richer and lived in and plausible that these two guys, Smoke and Stack, would be like some hustling ass dudes from the South that
Yeah.
went to the North, hit a lick, came back, like they're still hustling. Like all that shit felt real. The way the camera loved all the blackness on the screen.
Oh my God.
It
Yeah.
loved everybody. No one had to look bad. Which
Mm-mm.
wait, here's white cinematographers. Just a little. No one has to look bad. You can just work a little harder.
Because there's a white woman that does it, and she does that thing where the camera loves
It
our
reminds me.
skin.
It reminds me of Insecure, where it's like it wasn't like I was looking at it and going, the camera loves the black people, but the white people look pasty. It's like somehow when you make it good enough to make the black people look great, everyone looks great.
Right.
Everyone looks great.
But though, especially the way it loved like Wumi Masuku
Loves her skin.
like it felt good to see a person
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
You appreciate it. And like you could feel it in the audience and the crowd because the movie was extremely sexy. And so you could feel the like when she was standing at the door and he was at the grave, I was like, nah, they not gonna-
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
they're not gonna be fucking in 5 minutes because that would probably be not appropriate. You know what? That's me. That's me and my sick mind. Let me get my mind out the gutter. And bam, it was hitting it from the back in 5 minutes. Like I was like, well, I guess Ryan Coogler, you know the audience, sir. Carry on.
He knew what we needed. He knew what we needed because we needed
Wakanda Forever when he threw Nikita was in the jumpsuit. So I was like, oh, so we gonna put Lupita. She the one gotta go down. She gotta go down to the sea. Okay, whatever you say, Ryan. Whatever you say. That's what we need. I'm sorry, Cam. What were you gonna say, Cam?
I'm about to say this was a sexy ass movie with no nude scenes. I think a lot of people overlooked that.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
They know how it made them feel, but if they actually go back, there was not one titty pulled out.
Right.
All jokes aside, like there was not one ass cheek. Like you seen ass, but the ass was covered. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
It was very.
And there were only 2 sex scenes, and they weren't graphic. Yet people still walked away thinking that was a sexy ass movie.
Right.
And I think it has to do with everything surrounding it, the whole juke like atmosphere, and
they was in there sinning. You know what I mean? So all right. But yeah, and then what was the other thing I had? I'm sorry, I wrote down these things. Oh, collaboration is Ryan Coogler's superpower. That's the real thing. That's why you do the Marvel movies. You don't just like you leaving with something. Shout out to Denzel. You leaving with something. So like leaving out of Marvel Studios and getting like Ruth E. Carter, I think is her name, to be the person that did wardrobe for this movie. That's a big hit. Getting that money, that budget, that $90 million, so you can afford to do that. Obviously, his relationship with Michael B. Jordan. I think One-Me was in a Disney show over there for Loki. Like, Buddy did not leave the recipe. like he was over there. It's like he was working in the kitchen at fucking like KFC, but he had a notepad out like, so 13 spices. Okay, yeah, all right. And when he went home, he was like, but if you throw some extra paprika in that motherfucker though, it's gonna really be flames. Like they think they sitting on something, but I got the formula over here. So that collaboration, I could feel it on the screen between the actors. You could feel that it was a fun set.
Yeah.
That it looked so good. And I love that it didn't like ice out. It wasn't a statement about it wasn't an overt statement of like, what if black people were like white people and we refused to acknowledge anything and every like I love that it was inclusive. I love the stuff with Asian people within the culture, within the community. Being within the framework of this. I believe they had some like either Latino people, obviously we saw Native Americans, but I believe there's some Latino people in the cooking scene in there, if I'm not mistaken. But I just like that it was more like this is a community story. It's not about a fuck the white man story. Not that those overtones, undertones can't be present within the black community, but that's not the purpose of the movie. I didn't walk in there expecting to see Panther, or I don't know if y'all remember that shitty. That's probably a bad reference. Anyway, I didn't walk in there expecting to be like, down with the whitey. It wasn't like that, even though Jason Whitlock clearly took it that way. So let's get into some of these characters and stuff because I think that kind of helps.
They go crazy in the chat right now. They going wild.
Yeah. They're like they know what's up with that box. The last thing I meant to say is as a Southern black person, it is a love letter to a part of America that very, very rarely gets seen in that light from black people. Like we see white people do the like plantation wedding ass, gone with the wind bullshit all the time down here. And I think, one of the questions you always hear from people or, I hate that this happens, but it's like the other diaspora war is why y'all live down there? Move. And it's like, cause it's ours. We from here too. And it is beautiful to us. It is like this my land as well. And they don't just get to fucking take it from me unless we got to fight for it. And so this felt like that to me, especially the final like scene with the gun and the clan. Like it was like there's fighters in our blood down here too. It's not all just giving it up or whatever. And seeing like the culture and all that stuff and the land and even the swamp, even like all that stuff get love. Man, I don't know when's the last time I saw that. It's been decades since I saw that on the screen.
Yeah, and
I really loved
Go ahead, Bossy.
Just very, very quickly. I can't remember. I started getting the twins confused after a point, but I don't know whether it was Smoke or Stack that told Sammy that Chicago ain't nothing but plantations with skyscrapers. And that,
Yes.
I think that speaks to what you were saying, Rob, where people think that, oh, the South is just, what are they doing? Let's get rid of the red states. Like black people don't live there and face like the exact same things. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
go ahead,
was
Karen.
I think it was that, Karen.
Yeah, and also to kind of piggyback on what Rod is saying, as somebody who's a Southerner and actually just loves the South, like I love being down here. I actually not that funny. I don't want to live anywhere else. The truth be told,
Mhm.
and it's and it's also one of those things where I'm glad that a lot of people who not trying to be funny don't know nothing about the South and just think the South is just this country bunking ass place where everybody just eat backwards and all this other ignorant bullshit because they just don't know no better. Actually got to see in a beautiful light.
Yeah,
I mean, all jokes aside, like they actually got to
it was,
see it.
as Sammy said, it was the best day of his life until
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
wasn't. And but it that's how that movie felt. I was like, this is the best day of
Mm.
everybody's life. They about to have a party. Like this is lit. You're hanging out with your big cuz. They looking out for you.
Mhm.
You about to make a little money. It
Yeah.
felt so good. And then until it wasn't. All right, let's go through characters because I think that's probably the easiest way to like break these films down.
Mhm.
Can I add
Um,
something in real quick, Rod?
of course, yeah. Go ahead, brother.
No, I wanted to pick up what you and Karen were saying about the South. As a Northerner, I didn't even think about
As a
the love.
carpetbagger, just say it.
I didn't even think about the letter, like a love letter to the South. I
Yeah.
completely missed that. But as you were describing it, it made me think of the first time I saw Crooklyn
Mhm.
and the way that Spike Lee shot Crooklyn. Like I saw my entire family
Yeah.
in every single one
Right.
of those people. And you remember when she went to the South to Virginia to be with her family? Like that is how Northerners thought of the
Yeah.
South. You remember? And she went
Yeah.
down there. She said, I don't want to be here. But then when she left, she didn't want to
Yeah.
leave. Like
Yep.
to me, like that, you describing that made me think of like the richness. And I haven't seen to this moment someone shoot New York like Spike Lee did there,
Mhm.
Right.
juxtaposed like how you're talking about cooler shot for
Yeah,
this one.
black people finally getting in positions to have our imprint on these discussions, and our art is so important.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yep.
from the West Coast. I love GNX because Kendrick's from the West
West
Coast,
Coast.
and he said, I'm making
And he
something so
loves it.
right. He's like,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's what you feel. Like, I don't need
Yes.
to. I have never been to Rosecrans. I don't know
Mm-mm.
shit about Southwest Atlanta, Atlanta either, because
Mm-mm.
I ain't had to be there. When Outkast was rapping street names and shit, I just knew that them niggas had been on them streets. And
Yes.
I felt that because I'm a nigga that's been on some streets, and
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what came across with Kugler when he was doing this. Karen, what you
And
gonna say?
also, I love the fact that Ryan Coogler has a very thick accent and he doesn't change it. And I love the fact that his accent is authentic. So he made this movie where black people's accent was authentic to the South. Like he was like,
Mhm.
y'all gonna learn some drawl. And not trying to be funny, like as somebody who lives down here, who have seen bad movies made but by people quote unquote pretending and not actually talking like we talk slower.
Yeah.
We have draws and things like that because the thing is when it comes to it, you know how you felt about Spike Lee. That's how I felt about this because we want to be represented in a massive way too.
Yeah.
New York ain't the only place, and LA ain't the only place. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole swath of niggas down here
And
too.
it definitely you feel seen. And then I did want to make say a small thing, which is Atlanta made me feel like that too, though.
Oh, I loved Atlanta.
Like Atlanta,
Oh.
Oh,
because
the movie.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that TV
TV
show
show.
is set in the present, so it's how I grew up talking.
Yes.
Like those niggas talk. I know niggas that just sound like that, and that was like the first thing that made me sit up in my seat when Atlanta dropped. Was like, whoa, wait a minute, this is a good depiction. And of course, Donald Glover's from down there, so a lot of people, no matter how much they hate him, they can't make it not true.
That's the thing too. Just in general, whenever people talk about like how much Donald Glover hates black people or whatever, I was like, it's not possible. You can't make Atlanta and hate black people.
Right.
You
Right.
absolutely cannot. And
Yeah.
Ryan loves Black people, and I keep bringing Beyonce in because
But she
I think
do. You know,
she
Black.
loves Black people. Kendrick loves Black people, and the
Mhm.
difference between a Black person who loves Black people and makes art
Yeah.
for the people he loves or the people they love is so much different than somebody who either tolerates or doesn't care or is like, whatever about. You can hear the lack of, you can hear the vampire lack of soul in a lot of in a lot of people who
Yeah.
you just don't
When
like
there's a
Black people much, do you?
you can feel the difference in a product that's just this was my pitch was black such and such, hey, it's Black Dracula or whatever fuck. Like you can feel the difference where you're like, oh, this isn't really, you're selling Black people.
Yeah.
Hey, come watch Black people do this, as opposed to like, this is Black because I'm Black. So
Right.
I'm not really interested in the experiences of outside of myself as far as making them the focal point of any story. And
And
that's
I'm
how
not
this
trying to explain Black people to any of y'all.
is.
Right.
I'm not
Yes.
explaining this. This
So
just is what it is.
that felt
Right.
great. All right, characters. I'm gonna start with Remick first, because I feel like Remick is like the most misunderstood, and also like people have a lot of sympathy for him. People have a lot of like media literacy. I think is fucked, right?
In the toilets.
Yeah. So like I've been watching people discuss Remick, and beyond jokes, like if it's a joke, it's a joke. I'm not art, but like people really feel like he's an abolitionist. People really felt like he's offering Black people like equality and freedom, that he's definitely not a racist, that all that stuff.
Who thought
I
that?
I don't want to say names
A lot
because
of people.
people gonna write in and all this other
Mhm.
shit. I don't want to start no podcast beef, but it's not. But it's multiple
I'll say
people. I
it.
think people say it. But I'll start first with you, Bossy, and then we'll go Mike, and then Karen.
Mhm.
What did you think of the character of Remy?
Remy was a white, far left, socialist progressive. That's who he was. And he was so adamant about saying, or I don't know if he said it, but like being offended that you would think he was part of the Klan. Like, how could you think I was part of them? I just want to kill you and make you do whatever it is that I need to do to make myself feel better. I need you to sacrifice all of your people for what I think is best for y'all.
Yes.
None of my people are going to die, really, but all y'all should die and join my thing. The scene when he was outside doing the little jig, it wasn't like he was doing a jig and then he started like, popping and locking. He was doing his shit, and then all of the people around him were doing what he was doing, and he wanted what they had in order to find a way to turn it into something that was useful for him. That is, people kept saying, "Oh, he's a white liberal." No, he was a far left socialist. Like there's a certain kind of Black person that he was. A very certain. Mary was a white liberal, but the rest of them, he was a very specific kind of white person, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Next is Mike, right?
He was low key funny though. Sometimes
he was very funny.
I'll say that.
He was charming. I think he was charming. And listen, y'all,
like the devil is.
I live in North Carolina. Y'all, I don't know if y'all know. I'm in North Carolina. I'm in Cary, North Carolina.
Raise up.
Right?
Oh, you got the new Raleigh.
Yeah. Go on, take your shirt off.
Like a helicopter, right? And his character, more than any character in there, reminded me of parents of the children that parents of the kids my kids go to school with, right? And specifically, it's a very specific box. You will see this eye to eye. When your kids play sports, right? There's like a level of, if your kids are good, right? They're gonna level of attention and favoritism might look like on the outside, and all the parents on the sideline are cool and chumby and they're elbow and they're high-fiving when people score. But if something happens and your kid either gets too much shine or they leave the team or something happens, there is a visceral evilness There is a guttural evilness, if that's the word, that you feel when all year they were your best buds. They ask you to come to the pot belly in between games, and they want to take your kids to the pool on the weekend. You're like, I don't know if I trust you, Remick. Like that is like that's the feeling I felt from him. It's just
right,
a conveniently charming and nice person until you have something they want. And then it doesn't just go from nice to, oh, he's a little standoffish. It goes from nice to Dracula to evil to like, I will kill you because you're taking a spot or you're taking something that I have. I saw right through all that charming bullshit. That shit was not cool to me. Like it didn't even make me laugh a little bit. I was like, I know this guy. This is the guy on, if you work in DC and you're on the metro and you're in somebody's way, they're going to let you go. But if you're the last spot and someone's both trying to get on the train, they're going to throw you on a train and kill you, so you can't get their spot. They're going to cut you off in traffic and pull their gun out the window to let you know that they have something with them, right? So, yeah, he was a good villain in the movie, but his charm didn't move me.
He was not an anti-hero. People keep saying, oh, he's an anti-hero. He meant, well, no, he didn't.
right.
He was literally killing, like, what part of he was killing people is anti-heroic? He wasn't killing Klan members.
Right. Well, he did kill too, but not. That's because he needed
Oh, yeah.
Karen, what about
His little whack ass song?
I
Pick the Robin clean.
Sorry, I knew this meant something when I was listening to it. I was like, this means something. I gotta look this up after. Karen, go ahead. I'm sorry.
For me, the way it started off, it let me know that he was running away from somebody who was trying to kill him. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, I was like, oh, if they were trying to kill him, it is a reason why they were trying to kill him. It's like they knew something that other people did not know.
And he was on fire.
Yes, he was burning.
On actual
They didn't seem to have torches or flame arrows. He was on fire. Go ahead.
Yes. And so for me, it's one of those things where he was morphing into whatever that person needed so that he can trick them. And I think so many people fell for the morphing. If it was about black liberation, he was telling you about that. If it was about that Ku Klux Klan, he was telling you about that. I'm pretty sure
Grace, he spoke her literal language.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he probably killed a Native American. He was talking to them too. So somebody was like, bitch, what you doing over here? And so, it's one of those things where he will do whatever it takes to use you, because the thing is, he wants whatever you have. And the thing about Sammy was that because of who he was, and he could see things on a supernatural level, and Sammy sung on a supernatural level. And that's why a lot of times people didn't understand, like, why was the building burning? That's because he was seeing something on the outside that none of them could actually see unless
he saw fire, he saw warmth, he saw a thing he wanted for himself.
Yes, and
selfishly.
And so
he saw the connection to the ancestors that Sammy was able to bring. And he couldn't have that.
He wasn't thinking, I want to free these people when he saw that.
No,
it's also interesting because, sorry, just quickly, the way when they were trying to get into the juke joint and they were like, we want to play for you, they were playing the most, how does what you do match with what you're hearing? Like, why would we let you in to do that? Yeah. And it just didn't cross their mind. Not that it didn't cross his mind, but like, he should have been let in. There's no reason why. I asked nicely. I'm also singing a song. You should let me in. And the sense of entitlement, and then like the anger that came with being denied what you feel entitled to, I thought was very clear. So go ahead, Karen. Sorry.
Yes, and also I think that the biggest reason why he wanted Sammy, because he recognized Sammy's gift. Yep. And with Sammy's gift, he wouldn't have had them two white people playing them banjos behind him. He'd have had Sammy out there singing. All jokes aside,
to bring in more people.
Yes, and they probably would have been tricked and let him in. Yep. And so
that's a great point.
At the end of the day,
that's a good point.
Just to use people, because at the end of the day, his cult, because he was the leader, quote unquote, everybody was a part of the cult, and they all had that connection. And the connection was so deep that if he got stabbed, they felt it.
Yeah.
And so that's how connected they were. I think people underestimated how connected he was to them, and how if he bit you, all of a sudden he could speak your language. He knew your memory, so it was a deeper thing. And so because he understood that, he was like, oh, if I can get Sammy, I can go out here, because I'm already down south where a bunch of niggas is anyway.
I get the rest of the niggas, yeah.
Right. I already got the clan here, and ain't nothing but them out here. Plus, I get the nigga. Like, it was one of the things where I think his whole thing was like, I can actually get to the point where I can take over more, and gain more, and get more.
I don't. Yeah. I'm sorry. Did you have more before I go? Okay. But just, I agree with you. I wrote down some words while y'all were talking. Gluttonous was one of the words.
Yes.
He there was a gluttony about him that felt to me like the gluttony of like white supremacy, like historically over the earth.
Never enough.
Yeah, it's never enough. It's never happy enough. It's coming to take your shit. We don't have equals. We have people that we dictate to, and that's how those people in the group were. They were under his thrall when they were dancing the jig. I know some people were entertained and like, this is a fun song or whatever scene. I didn't see it as a party. I saw it as, this is how complete his control is over these people, because those motherfuckers didn't know no Irish jig. They didn't.
Assimilation. Assimilation. Yeah,
exactly. There was no scene of him teaching them. Like, he was making them do that with their bodies, and they had no choice but to be excited about it. Later on,
watching him, he was the center.
Yeah.
Right. And later on, we do see that, like, when they're not under his thralls, they do have their own motivations, and it wasn't his. So clearly, it was coming from him. You know, like in other movies, vampirism is the like, it makes you into this thing of like, I have to eat everything.
That's why, because Mary went straight to Stack, because that's what he wanted, and then Smoke was able to, or Stack didn't bite Smoke because, oh my God,
right?
I even put that together.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'll do my thing a little bit. Yeah, I love that you brought up, you know, he's conniving, he has no morals, he absorbs knowledge, he wants this black griot. But the other thing I noticed, he uses the Klan either way. So like the Klan for white people was the like, hey, I hear y'all love whites. I know I'm on smoking on fire. Let me in, you know, like Big Bad Wolf, just let me on in. And they let him in just out of pure, because white people, those poor white Southerners, saw those indigenous people, and they were more afraid of the other, that they let the wolf inside the hen house.
Shout out to
them. They would have voted for him to be president.
Yeah, shout out to them and be like, did you let him in your house? God bless you. All right, boys, hop on the horse. We heading home for midnight.
Indigenous folks was
and
great.
We never seen them people again.
They were like...
That was another thing I loved about this movie, is how much lore they didn't explain. They just put us in the middle of stuff. If you're smart, you understand. If you're dumb, you still understand. You do understand those indigenous people said, all right, that's your life, white people. It's getting dark. Bye.
You let them into your house. Okay. Good luck with that.
Right.
Everybody's like,
good luck with that.
I would love a spinoff show about what I'm like, we don't need to know what happened before. We know he's on fire and running, and they were chasing him and was like, fuck it. He ain't coming back our way. Bye. Be nice. Enjoy your lives.
Y'all got it.
We don't need to know what they had for dinner before they set out on the horse. We don't need any of that.
We're good.
That was the beauty of his ability to storytell in that way. Yeah. Like, it's just, he trusts his audience. He's like, I'm showing you what you need to know. I'm telling you what you need to know. Trust me the rest of the way.
And I'll say it like, because I know you said you wouldn't, just like Kendrick. Like Kendrick trusts that his fans will go and find that fourth entendre, and I will. Without him, like, he never does a line in those "Who's Pal Surprise" or whatever the fuck. Like, he just says some shit, and you be like, I think, that feel like it can mean more than. Oh, you know what? Actually, damn, it means 7 things. Like that. That's how he does it.
Yeah.
Kugler was doing
Ron, it was something else you said, Ron, when Remick was doing the Irish jig, right? And then all the people around him were doing the jig. That was the initial moment where I was like, oh, it reminded me, not really, but he's Eminem, right? Like it gave me an Eminem analogy in that moment, But he was doing okay. So when they did the flashback scene, I'm sure we're going to talk about this later. But when the flashback and forward of the music, when Sammy was singing in all the different genres, right? They were superimposing the Irish jig over all of the music, right? And his music didn't change. They were still jigging it out there. But it was overlayered with the black music. And then all the black people started doing the jig. And it was just like such a perfect culture vulture moment of how like white the industry, but it's not just music industry, it's all of culture and art will take like bits and pieces of black art, put their face on it, it becomes popular, and then other black people are like, oh, that's lit because look how popular it is, right? It was just
also he's not of the culture at that point because he hasn't absorbed Sammy and Delroy Lindo's character, like, because if he, you know, he might could have, I wouldn't have put it past him to play that shit to get in the club. Even though I think what we heard with that jig, that's his Nuck If You Buck. You know what I'm saying? That was his, because like the way Michael B. Jordan's character is, like, I'm like, it's if you, I'm surprised this hasn't happened on Twitter, but if you just take out that jig and put in like some down south crunk music,
I know
that's the vibe of the fucking
somebody's
thing.
Doing it.
They was ready to bust up in there. You know, tear that club up.
Yeah, Nuck If You Buck.
His Irish
juke up.
Right. Tear that juke up. I also love that his Irish ancestry gave him a way in too, because what people mistook for empathy, which as Bassey pointed out, is not. He doesn't really understand blackness. He's a pitch man. He's a hit. He's the guy that hits on every woman in the club. That's what he is. He doesn't take no for an answer. And I thought this was obvious in how he talked to Grace, because he talks to her in her own language. First, he uses the husband, then he talks to her in her own language, tells her he'll eat her pussy, then says, "I'm gonna kill your kid." And people was like, "See, he was really for black liberation." I'm like, "Are you fucking dumb?
Are you crazy?"
He was like, whoever lets me in, and not just funny, it was like, oh, you're the weakest link.
Yeah, however he can get in, he's gonna get in. Whether it's to save your child, whether it's to because you still think you can be a vampire pro-black, when whatever he get, but the second he bites you, you're just in his thrall. There's no fucking you anymore.
Yeah,
it's a set of. It's ironic. It's almost like, you know, social media, how they like take everybody's information or whatever. You're just a set of data to him. It's like, if this data helps me to sell or get some more shit, that's what you're good for. The cultural apprehension of black people is the only thing that was keeping on the outside, because that's really what it was. Like, he was not threatening when he showed up at that door, other than the threat of just general whiteness and black people being like, nope, somebody ain't gonna step on your shoe. Like, whiteness is scary enough. You don't gotta be a vampire. You just can't come in.
Like, it was like, what the fuck are you doing out here?
Y'all are the vampire as far as we're concerned. All right, Smoke and Stack. Let's go around. I forget the order, but Karen, you go first.
Okay. And
then we'll go Mike and then Bassey.
I love the fact that they did their research on twins. And like I was listening, they actually covered twins, and they was like, they knew twins, and, you know, they did research on twins. They, you know, some people on the set were twins. And so, you know, they would ask them things like, why y'all side by side? And they was like, it's not for us, it's for y'all. Because the second we're not together no more, everybody gets fucking confused. Like, what's happening? What's going on? Like everybody else just don't know what to do when they're not together. And so,
standing in the same position all the time.
The same position, or like back to back, or like close in proximity to each other. And I was like, I would have never thought about that. And, you know, they was talking about growing up in the hood and how there was normally 1 to 2 sets of twins and how they would respond to each other, and how a lot of times their language is the same and they talk the same, because particularly if they grew up together, you're not going to see a big difference unless you get them alone one-on-one. And so that was a big thing on why their partners were different. Because they literally are 2 different people, you know what I'm saying? But together, they look identical, that, you know, they're the same. But when they're separate, that's when you got to, quote unquote, see the real them, if that makes sense.
And their partners made sense once you got to know them. Their partners made perfect sense, of course.
Right. And so I actually really love and I appreciate them doing their homework on it and having an understanding of that relationship, they would have the same cadence. They would talk alike, and things like that. Like they would kind of have the same appearance and things like that. They would have a deep love for each other, because they literally have spent their whole lives together.
Right.
And so, it's unlike any other bond. So I really do appreciate that. And also my biggest thing, we were talking about Michael B. Jordan before. Shout out to him for literally playing two different parts. Like that is a very, very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And so that shows you how talented and how dedicated he was, because it was just amazing to see. Because if you did not know, you would really think he had a twin. Like if you were like, oh, that's actually his twin, but it's actually the same person.
Probably the Marvel special effects that Ryan Coogler got cool with or some shit. Cause that shit did. My brain stopped thinking of them as two Michael B. Jordans.
Yes,
like
really.
It was two different people. It was two different people.
I
turned on. This is another thing that I never do. I turned my phone completely off and put it in my bag. I never do that. And I was like, I need to Google because I wasn't. Does Michael B. Jordan have a twin? Did I not know that?
Right. It felt
not even that I thought he'd be acting, but I thought like maybe they did a Marvel thing where they put his face on his actual brother's head or whatever.
The conspiracy that isn't true, but that I was prone to believe, was that one of them twins was supposed to be a completely different actor. I was like, okay, that maybe Jonathan Majors fucked up so bad. They were like,
I was thinking Chadwick too.
Both, yeah, like that's how good the twin thing was, because you can be fraternal twins and you don't have to look identical,
right?
But I was like, that's how good his performance was. I was like, oh, they must have just planned for this to be two different people, because they're two different people.
Like they interacted with each other. Like, damn.
Yeah, Mike, I think you should.
Even
I think their characters. Go ahead, Bossy. Where you jump in?
No. Go ahead.
I think their characters were just profound. There was something, Karen, that you mentioned about, if you notice, whenever they were in a scene together, and everybody knows twins in real life, there was something about like how they were positioned that were like they had each other's backs. Like they were like either looking over each other's shoulders. They were like positioned always in a way where like they were looking out for each other.
Right.
Phenomenal. It was like small stuff. I was trying to see, I might have been doing too much in the movie. I was trying to see, like, sometimes twins are like, one is right-handed, one is left-handed. I was trying to see. Could you see that? I couldn't pick it up.
I couldn't pick it up, but I was definitely looking for that too.
I was looking for that.
They're mirror twins.
Yeah, I just love the fullness of each of their characters. Just with black men in movies, and they're, one's playing a villain role. They're both kind of like have villain tendencies, throughout, in terms of, trying to, find money, and they're, trying to get this juke joint going. And there's like not perfect aspects, imperfect aspects of their character, but they were all still like, they felt like cousins to the viewer. Right? They felt like
I never thought Sammy was in danger, even when him and Sammy, when Smoke and Sammy got into it at the club and he put a gun on him. I was like, he would never.
Right? Because I was
like, what are we talking about?
I was like,
I'm like, Ryan, you can turn the dramatic music down.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
That love is too deep.
Yeah. I was gonna say. Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
The one thing I was wondering about that I kind of missed, and I saw people talking about it, I was like, what happened? The connection in Chicago. I know like Al Capone was in Chicago. Did they mention that? Because I missed that.
They mentioned that. I think actually it was Mary who mentioned that they had robbed. They got that liquor from the robbery in Chicago that everybody like had heard about through the grapevine. It's clearly like y'all worked for both gangs. Y'all robbed both gangs. I forget what they took from the Irish mob, but like y'all robbed both gangs.
The Irish beer and then the
beer. Yes.
Italian wine.
There you go. Yeah. So that was like she's like, you stole both, and then y'all came back down here to basically like run shit. And I know what I was gonna say.
They were fighting.
We'll go to Bassey. Yeah, it is when you're already illegal. Why not be a gangster? Like that's why there's no moral judgment on them from the community, really. Like this it's necessitated. You don't, if there's not someone willing to break the law, you don't get a juke joint. If there's not someone willing to like fight the Klan, you don't get to have shit. You just go be sharecroppers. When they're paying you in dollars that are not currency outside of the black community in that area, then go steal some wine and some liquor and go fucking host your own party. Like that's why I never felt like the film judged them. I never felt like Sammy judged them. The only person that would have judged them obviously would be Sammy's dad, and that's more of a religious thing than a a black thing to me. Bassey, your turn.
And just on that point, the care that Smoke and Stack took with Sammy was not the same care that his father took. Because had Sammy showed up at the juke joint bloody and torn up, they wouldn't have like tried to they would have gone to him, and they would have tried to take care of him. His father never left the pulpit trying to like to his own child after his child came broken and bruised towards him. But the thing with Smoke and Stack too is that after when we first, the same way with twins, when you first see them, you think, oh, they're identical. They do everything the same. They're kooky or whatever. But then the more time you spent with them, the more you're like, oh, he's a hothead. Oh, he's the one that calms him down. Oh, he does this. He does that. One thing about twins, too, is they take the who's older thing very seriously. Like, I am 5 minutes older. I am your older brother. And I will treat you like you are 10 years younger than me. And so to see, oh my God, Ryan Coogler on the Met carpet last night said that Stack does Smoke's hair. And people have picked up that I think that Stack rolls the cigarettes because what's his name? Smoke doesn't have a steady, like there's certain things that after you've met them for a while and see that Mary makes sense for Stack and Annie makes sense for Smoke, you go back and like, oh, I see how the way that he moved this, he's more concerned with this aspect of the business than that aspect of the business. And Michael B. Jordan's ability to have the subtleties and the nuances of a relationship like that was really, really amazing. And I don't want to keep on bringing up Kendrick, but in the Heart Part 6, when he says, grinding with my brothers, it was us against the world, no one above us, bless our hearts. That's, I kept hearing, I heard Reincarnated, I heard the Heart Part 6, like I kept hearing all these different songs, but like that's what I got from it. Like they were two separate people. And when I think I started crying, now I cried a lot, but I start when Smoke was holding Stack and Stack was dying, watching Michael B. Jordan hold
himself
while he's dying. I was just sitting here like my brain
nominate this nigga for something.
He needs to be nominated for each role.
Every single category should have everybody. All the best.
I believe this nigga was holding himself, watching himself die.
This is the first time I actually even thought about it. I didn't even think about it. I just
it hit me different because in that moment, I'm thinking he's watching his own face die. You know what I mean? Like I'm like not even like as a character and an actor. Like I'm just like, God damn, this would fuck someone up. So bad.
Yeah, that's why he wasn't trying to hear her when she was talking. He was like, I don't care what you're talking about.
And he innately understood there was no convincing him of putting that body outside. So she did the next best thing to save his life.
Which is what Mary would never, but we'll talk about that. But you know what I thought of? They loved each other so much, Smoke and Stack. And at the end, when Stack says, it was the best day of my life. It was the last time I saw the sun. It was the last time I saw my brother. You know how vampires can't see their own reflection? Yeah. He can't even see his brother in his face. Like his brother is gone. That's
Karen, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And something else, when I forgot which one was talking to Sammy, and they was talking about their dad and how abusive their dad was.
I wrote that down.
Yes.
And he was like, "Yeah, my brother killed him." I was like, "That makes sense
Smoke-
to why he
Smoke-
why he didn't kill him and
Smoke
made him
killed the
promise."
father to save Stack.
Mhm.
Stack clearly to us on screen, Stack reads as the crazy wild card brother.
Oh yeah.
But it's Smoke. That's just Smoke the one that's gonna get it done. Like
Yeah.
like that nigga
Smoke
kill
was
his
the only one who shot people, right? Did Stack ever shoot anybody? Smoke
I don't
not
think he
killed,
did.
but shot. Did he
Yeah,
shoot
I don't
the
think he did.
snake? The Smoke shoot. I think that Smoke was the only one who shot anybody between the two of them.
Damn, I think you're right.
Yeah, he shot them two.
Yeah,
people
because he
trying
shot
to
the clan too.
Yeah, he shot them two, and he shot them two people trying
Hey
to break in
man,
that
he
vehicle.
got shit done. Like he was, but also that protective vein explains why he couldn't kill Stack.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't. He just fucking. It's like I would have saved your life back then just to end it. As I'm obviously was saving you from my father's abuse, and now I'm gonna be your killer. I can't do it. And I love the way they cut away and then reveal that later because they got me. Like I didn't see it, but in my mind, I had forgotten about that moment and was like, "Damn, everybody died." Right. And then the second you see Stack come up and he's telling the story, you're like, like the second I saw him in the cooch, I went, "Oh, because he couldn't kill his brother. That's fucking ridiculous."
Right.
But
and when he said that Smoke said don't touch Sammy, and he just didn't. Like, you know what I mean? Like a murderous vampire. The connection was that strong. It's like my brother said not to, my big brother said not to, so I'm not going to.
That's when I 400% sure knew Remick was evil. Like it wasn't vampires are evil.
Right.
He didn't have to do any of this shit. Stack probably hadn't converted another motherfucker the whole time because he's like, look, I'm immortal or whatever the fuck, and I promised I wasn't gonna touch my cousin. That's it. I do want to let him know we out here, and honestly he offered him the same shit. Like, if you want, he's like, I'm good. He's like, all right then, fam. I love that they both had to vocally confess their love. Different ways, different characters, but Ryan Coogler is one of those dudes that one of the things I resonate with his work is that he thinks about like women, black women, equality. Like he thinks about it. He's not stumbled into some shit
so clear.
Yeah, like Black Panther.
And the women's have purpose.
The reason Black Panther 1 hit so hard to me is that the whole plot of the movie is like, listen to the black people, listen to black women. Nakia is right the whole time. Shuri is right. Is right. And so and that's throughout the core of his movies, that is a recurring theme, So to see like them like obviously it means something that they was eating pussy in the 20s or whatever the fuck. Like obviously that means something. But more importantly than that, it was like how they were listening and how they had to come clean. Cause like Mary is not Annie on any level as far as that. But Mary is, I 100% believe Stack loves Mary. And I believe him when he's cold towards her, it's because he thinks it's going to protect her.
Yes.
At no point did I think like, cause bitches ain't shit. I'm out here. I was just waiting for him to have his moment of like, God damn it, yes, I love you, but you cannot be safe with a gangster nigga from the South.
Right.
And you can't be you're trying to be a white woman and you can't be seen. They'll kill me and you. So this is free.
And you have like there's this, it's like the kid that's gonna make it out the hood. It's fucked up, but it is what it is. You have the chance to go be white.
Yes.
There's nothing safer for you in America than being white. There's nothing I can provide you. If I have to make you think I hate you for you to go make that choice, you should go make that choice. And in her own like kind of selfish white and womanish ways, she's like, fuck that choice. I don't value my safety if it's not with you. I'll burn everything down just so we can be together, which kind of speaks to her own privilege, but the core of her character as well.
And I think that Stack bit Annie because he thought that if Annie turns, then Smoke would be more willing to turn, and the four of them would be together forever. But Annie's will was. So let me ask you a question. This is something that I thought of. I told you that because Rod asked me to do this, and I was like, okay, whatever. I went to see it, and I was like, I can't do it because I was crying for hours after. I cannot do it. I didn't get anything from it because I'm too emotional. I was literally taking a walk, and I stopped dead in my tracks because a million like things just kept like all this symbolism and all this like oh my God, when he did this, did he mean that? But something that I thought of, and I want y'all to let me know if you with the understanding that this was a layered story. Right. I was trying to understand why Smoke did what he did at the end. The obvious answer is he lost the love of his life. He lost his brother. There's nothing left for him to live for. Obvious. Absolutely. For sure. But what I thought was also one of the other layers, but one of them was something that Remick said got to both him and Sammy. Not enough for him to like join him, but in the sense that we'll never know freedom. There's never going to be a point in our black ass life where these people will leave us alone. It won't always be a vampire. It'll be the Klan. It'll be some like random ass racist, whatever. So my thought was he knew that this was is it called a dummy mission? When you know you're going to die, but you do it anyway.
That's what it's called.
Yeah. So it was one of him and a bunch of Klansmen. He knew that he was going to die at some point. But for me, he was saying, I can't stop the world from terrorizing Black people, but I can stop these specific, particular racist white people from doing any damage to the Black people around us, right? Or around here. I'm also willing to die because my wife is gone, my daughter is gone. Mm-hmm. He could have hopped in the car with Sammy and drove to whatever, but then the whole Chicago ain't nothing but plantation with skyscrapers. It could get so much worse for his bloodline. Does he want to bring another family, another child? Does he want like a generation, a bloodline of children and children's children who have to battle vampires in all shapes, forms, and sizes? Or does he just like, this is my decision as a human being?
End with me.
End it here. It ends here. Nobody else is going to have to go through this. That's what I thought.
There's a couple things there. The first thing I want to say is, I knew you was going to do this thing. Mike, you can learn a lot from me. I wasn't going to try to like convince her or fix it or whatever. I know Bassey well enough. She just needs some time. She's like, even when she was like, I don't think I'm going to see it. I never told her to go see it. I never was like, you got to go see it. I was like, you're going to have to go see it.
I see the vision.
Yeah, I'm just going to wait it out. You are who you have always been, and you cannot not see this. And the experience I had was so beautiful. It's like they made a movie for you. Right. I'm sure 100 people have told you to go see it, and you've told them politely, no. I don't want to be the 90th, the 100th one. So that's another thing. The second thing is she does see it, and she's like, and that's when I'm like, you want to do the thing, watch it after and review it. And she goes, I can't even stop crying or whatever. I'm like, all right, yep, understood. Because he's not gonna stop thinking about it. It's too beautiful. If anything, that's why she's gonna want to talk about it. She can't stop crying. Who the fuck don't want to talk about something that made them feel like that? We talk about that forever. I believe during the beginning of like the Kendrick beef, it was like some like I can't just see us talking about this. I'm like, this is gonna be our life. I've been waiting.
I needed a new personality after the Kendrick beef. It was my personality for a year. Sinners is my new personality. Somebody needs to do something next year to like.
Yeah, listen, you come a long way from Bruno Mars. Now to the things you were bringing up. I think Stack does believe in. He believed in all the anti-spiritual stuff the whole time.
I do too.
Yes,
he didn't want to believe in it, obviously, but he believed in it. And that when he took off that charm,
I wrote that down. Yes,
I said he's going to be with Annie.
Yeah, I was like, that was his decision to die at that period of time because his brother couldn't bite him because of that necklace.
Yeah, and I think he understood like his faith was not in her religion or whatever, because I don't think he knows all the practices. His faith was in Annie. Like,
Yes.
I believe in you. If you believe in this, then I believe in you believing in this. And he had just gone through two things that would make him feel a way, which is, one, vampires exist. That's a real fucking thing. So
who would have thought about? Who would have thought that the day before?
So maybe there's some Elysian afterlife feel where I get to go live with my wife and my dead baby. Like, why the fuck would I not believe?
He chose that heaven as opposed to the heaven that Sammy's father was trying to give him, or the forever that Remick was trying to give him. My question is, what happened in the morning when the town woke up?
Well, the clan woke up and they went to go.
That's the only sequel I want to know.
The clan woke up first, and then everybody else woke up, because the clan apparently early to bed, early to rise. But it was like, so you have the vampire thing. So now there's things beyond human understanding that he now has this idea of. And then the second thing is the clan, whiteness won't stop. So like that town where he told Sammy to go and be safe, I feel like he knows it's just a matter of time for that shit too. Like, whiteness is coming for all Black joy and happiness and commerce and everything. And he just decided, like, I'm checking out here. I'm taking as many of them out with me as I can, and then I'm off to the afterlife. So those were the reasons I felt that he did it. And then Karen and Mike, you guys can if you have different reasons, and if not, we'll move to the next character.
Oh, the same. I agree. I think the second he took off that necklace, I think that was his decision, that he no longer wanted to be there. And it also was that thing where he knew if they showed up, they were going to kill them. And I think that because Remick had kind of told them, hey, they coming in the morning. So he already knew, which caught them by surprise when they hit their front door, and people went coming out stumbling and drunk and all that stuff. And
the time that they did it was club let out time.
Yes.
Like, they were coming to in that building. They weren't like waiting until noon the next day.
Right. And it's also one of those things to where you look at it, he had, I don't know how much time he had, or if he did it after he sent Sammy back home, but he had guns everywhere. So he was prepared for the war. And so I do agree. I think that he was ready to go, and he knew that he wouldn't go get no peace, you know, because technically in his mind, he had lost his brother, because his brother was quote unquote no longer human,
right?
You know, and and so in his mind,
he lost his child and his wife. I mean, he was
right.
He was like, ready to go.
What's my purpose?
Yeah. What about you, Mike? Those reasons cover why you think he did what he did?
Same things. The only thing that I would add, if it might have been said already, but I saw it as him taking control. It was just his opportunity to have control over his demise, right? And knowing what was going to be his afterlife, and believing what Annie was telling him. That's the only thing. But I mean, it was. Did this happen in y'all's theater? Like, folks clapped when he shot everybody? Did folks stand up and applaud?
Well, people was hype. I don't remember if they stood up and clapped, but I just remember everybody like being hype.
Yeah, it was super hype, and it was a theater. Like I told you, we were in Florida, so it's kind of a mixed bag in terms of the theater. And folks were standing up, yelling, like it looked like the Arsenio Hall show. Like
we needed America needed a reminder that we all should applaud killing the Klan. It's sad that we need that reminder, but we are at a point in America where, like, a theater full of people getting hey guys, these are bad people always, all the time.
Yeah,
it felt good because the scene, what makes that scene so fucking amazing to me, and I'll move this into the next point as well. It reminds me the role that the church plays and / doesn't play in this film is fucking immaculate. Like, it's not like, I don't think it's necessarily shitting on religion. Like, I think you can be a religious person and watch it and enjoy it. I think I actually got to talk to the actor who played Cornbread the other day on the radio, and he's a very religious person. He said he wasn't going to take the role, but there was something that Coogler put in the movie, the line from Remick to Sammy where he says those words were basically used to given to my people by the people that conquered my people, and yet I still can find solace in them. And so to him, he was like, yes, like I do find solace in those words. It's not ironic to me. And even though obviously Kugler's also pointing out these words are used to make people subservient. They're not of our culture. They're, your father's dedicated his life to this, but when you look at why his father may have dedicated his life to that, he probably came from an abusive ass household. Like,
that was another thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this,
that was another part of it.
Right. These choices weren't just like in a vacuum where, where we're judging it with the 2025 standards of the day. Like, well, why didn't you do? It's like, cause they didn't have that many fucking choices. Go be a preacher. Maybe they won't kill you. I don't know. Yeah. But I love that religion wasn't the answer in that, like, there was no magical power of like hey, say the cross, or you say this prayer and then the vampire go, oh, I can't bite him. There was no get out of jail free card. And I love that at the end when the father is trying to take Sammy, get him to drop the guitar. And like, now that you've been scared, now that you're making a fearful decision, run into me in my arms of the Lord. And Sammy ultimately doesn't make that decision. And if anything, he kind of, that final scene after the end of the credits, he's blending the cultures together. He's bringing something his father, I'm sure, would have never let him do in that church, but he's bringing the blues to the gospel. And there's something so beautiful about that, because to me that really symbolizes African American culture in America. Like the creativity, the constraints, the breaking of those constraints, the melting of genres and all that stuff, the innovation. Like, I didn't get that scene the first time I saw it. I was like, what? Okay, I guess I stayed after the credits for something to say. Maybe the audience needs that because they need to feel better or something. And then I thought about that shit for like 2 days. I was like, oh my God, this nigga's a genius. The role of the church, Karen, Mike, Bassey.
Yeah, and also when you look at the religious part of it with Sammy, you realize at the
and feel free to throw Annie in there too, since I'm spirituality, religion, all that stuff. Go ahead.
And at the very, very end, how when he gave them permission to come and see him, how they was like, that new shit is all right. Yep. Seeing that original shit, because in their mind, the sound that had the most soulful feeling that actually moved them to their core was the original stuff that he first did. And it kind of changed over time because people change and all that stuff. But in their mind, they was like, that's all right.
You made me wonder if Sammy had used his gift in that way since. You just made me think about that. Because, like, if everyone was getting that experience, like what the vampire saw, was Sammy doing? Because once you said, he made a note that you changed the music.
Yes, he did.
It's not what this is.
It don't hit the same.
I want to hear that shit you used to do. That.
But did he change it, or did the white people change it? The white infrastructure change it. You know what I'm saying?
Like, it really does. Man, Karen, you blew my mind. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I don't know, because that stuck out to me that they specifically was like, no, we want to hear your old shit. We want to hear like that, that original stuff. They was like, that new shit is all right. I got all your albums, dog, but it's nothing like that first time that it actually moved my soul.
Anything on Annie's spirituality before I move to the next people?
The thing I liked about her was that she was just a part of the community. She wasn't an outcast.
Yes.
She wasn't other.
Yeah.
They
weren't scared of her.
Right. They was like,
they trusted her.
Yeah. They was like, this is just what she does.
Yep.
And she even took the black money.
Yes. And she was like, it's okay.
But that was something too.
And so I think that a lot of the people in the community have been protected by her and like the things that she has done. So for a lot of them, even the people that went to church and religious, they go, I get it. Whatever this is, it has some type of power behind it, if that makes sense. So they believed in that. And from that, they kind of in some people's mind, they connected to that, to some power, to God, which
Right.
actually for them made it kind of okay for her to be around. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right.
Like that's how a lot of them rationalized it out.
Yeah.
Particularly in a time where white people are trying to kill you, anything it takes to prevent them from coming up here and fucking everything and everybody up.
Yeah.
Like if it takes me getting a thing from you to put in my house so the white man won't come in here and rape me, girl, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have to think about the time they was in and where they were and the things around them, to the fact that I really, really like the fact that she wasn't frowned upon. Even if you did not understand what she was doing,
They respected her.
yes,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, and they allowed her just to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I forget who I said was next. Is it Mike?
Yeah, I think you said, Mike, the two things I wanted to add on to what Karen was saying is, one, my grandmother is Cuban, and she was definitely in I don't know what it was called when I was a child, but I saw her do things. And that scene when she was in her house and she was like preparing, she got stuff together, she like put her hair, like I vividly remember my grandmother doing stuff like that, and like being like getting ready to do something magical is how it looked to me as a child.
Right.
And I remember stories of my mom telling me in Cuba how the women in the community would be sought after if people were in pain, if people needed healing, if people wanted something good or bad to happen to somebody else. They knew, and my grandmother was one of those people. So I saw my grandmother in that character, in Annie's character. The other thing too is, and I don't know if I've heard this anywhere, because I purposely haven't really listened to a lot of commentary before or after I saw the movie, but the Sammy's character wasn't, y'all tell me if I don't know my Bible the way I used to, but the devil was an angel of the Lord at one point, right? And wasn't he the angel of music, right?
Yes.
He got cast out. Yeah.
Right, he got cast out, the music ministry, and I think, of course, there's a connection to what Sammy's abilities were, and that's what the vampires were sought after, right? And I couldn't help but think about all of the great singers in our lifetime that we've seen have this battle between church and popular music, right?
Yeah, that's how they used to find us. Like it's kind of moved away from that.
Yeah.
But that's how they used to find us. They used to actually just go to the churches and just find us and pluck us out.
I have a theory on that. I have a theory that I've always thought about that I've never expressed. Go ahead.
So if you think of, we were talking about the culture vulture in Remick, right? If you think of the names that we all know, Tommy Mottola. If you think of what's homeboy that found Whitney Houston in the church. I can't think of his name.
Watching it. No, that wasn't Giselle.
It was not Giselle, baby.
I know what you're talking about. I see him in my face. I see his face. Yeah.
And all of these real people.
Clyde
Davis. That have that vampire-like quality, that find our churches, find our best voices, and end up killing our great singers. Yep. I think of we talked about Donny Hathaway, we talked about Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Prince, Luther, Sam Cooke. I mean, there's so many of the great voices of our generation that have had these untimely deaths due to this constant battle of like good and evil. And then that's what I saw the church representing in the film.
Bassey, what were you gonna say?
A couple of things. They made it a point to keep mentioning, or to let us know that the twins' father was abusive, and then also that he was Sammy's uncle, like his dad's older brother or they're brothers. And the fact that they both probably, and this is the math that I did when I was taking my walk, their father was probably enslaved at some point, either at the tail end or at some point. So the ways in which they handled their traumas, one became abusive, one became a preacher, and it's all born of the same need to to tend to generational traumas and generational wounds. And so the grace that I give Sammy's father is that I know all of this horrible, terrible things that happen in the world, and my cover is God and Jesus. I don't know any of the words. I don't know any of the hoodoo to make anybody feel better. I don't have any control. I don't have any power. All my power is in the Lord. And that's the only thing I can offer you in this your time of need. And so being able to see that both Remick and his father were offering him fear, and Sammy could not choose fear. He killed it over here with the thing that was supposed to be his downfall, according to his father, was what literally saved his life when it came to Remick, and what freed him. And him feeling free and his father needing to protect him, because I don't think it's all like, I don't care about you. It's like, I love you. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to take care of you. I don't know how to protect you clearly. I don't know anything but to give you the fear that keeps you close to me, which is how a lot of Black parents parent, through this veil of fear. And a lot of times, let's go on a tangent, but like nowadays, due to social media, people lose the nuance of why parents behave the way they do. It's not about staying abusive, and it's not about that. It's like knowing that these people came from somewhere, and every generation believes that they're breaking a generational curse, and they are, but there are still things that need to be built upon. So that was the first thing. But to what Mike was saying, I'm a huge Sam Cooke fan. Like he's been my favorite artist that's not Kendrick since I was 8 years old. And I read his a biography that was made on him, like the comprehensive biography on Sam Cooke. And I was shocked at all of the things that went on in his life. But there are so many stories of gospel singers who go against the church and they become secular singers. And a lot of times something happens to them. Like they die, they get tragic. All kinds of things. Something tragic happens to them. And the Christian viewpoint is, see, we told you, the devil got you. See, we told you, the devil. But what I think happens is they left the church, and because they left, everything you taught them about love, about forgiveness, about cherishing, about the eternal unconditional love that comes with the cover of Christ, all of that you take away from them. Now they're horrible. Now they don't mean anything. Now they're no good. Now they belong to the world. All of these, they're worldly.
Right.
So if you're telling somebody that just because I made this decision, that is the end of me, my soul is gone, what prevents them from being reckless people? What prevents them from falling headfirst into all the vices? Because you said that they're unforgivable. You said that they'll never be redeemed. You said that once they leave the cover of the church, the sanctity of the church, then they're dead to you. So without that, they don't have anything to protect. So I don't think it's a oh, they did this and that happened. It's because this happened, because you took away everything that I've known to be supportive. What's the point of being anywhere near sanctified?
And how does that make them any different than the vampires? Right. Based on what you just said, Bassey, how does it's the same?
Conform, unless you're gonna conform, you're cast out, and if you're cast out, you're dead to us. And we want to use your gifts to spread the word that we want, right? Play the guitar.
It's still a gift, but do it for our reason.
Yeah,
that's very vampiric.
Yeah, everything y'all said, I totally co-sign. As far as Annie, I love that she had read the script. Annie. I love that she knew what was going to happen in each scene in the movie, because she was ready in a way nobody else was. She was like, guys, those are vampires. Okay. Don't let them in. Okay. Like, get the body out of the house. Like, she did the research, and clearly if they had listened to her, we would all be Kamala Harris would be president right now. She fucking knew what she was talking about. The other thing too,
and I love that they listened to her too. They listened to her. Smoke was like, "You're gonna listen to her because she knows what she's talking about."
Yes. I love that point that Mike brought up about religion and the devil being an angel, because it reminds me of Kendrick Lamar's reincarnated. See,
okay, I didn't want to say anything. I'm sitting
Bossy,
here
you
like,
need
don't
to
talk
calm
about
down,
Kendrick.
Bossy.
Don't talk about Kendrick. Don't say reincarnated. Don't talk about the last verse of reincarnated.
if it wasn't for Bassey, I knew she had points to make, and I didn't want to distract her, but I almost cut Michael off before Bassey was talking to be like, "You don't have to say it. I'll say it." Reincarnated Kendrick Lamar. Out of all that, even the thing of like these other stars that are black that were cast out of church, that were cast out of community, who fell to their own vices. Yes, even the idea of what you do with those gifts. The angel taking music and then trying to rehabilitate himself and bring it back to earth. It reminds me of Stack in a way of like, this gift is not, I'm a vampire. I don't have to be evil. I'm just a vampire. So like, I like that. And then the other thing I was thinking too is, who do you guys think would be the funniest actor to have to be let in the house as a vampire? Because the dude that played Cornbread was great. He was he was a good one.
He was good.
But like, if you could cast one random black person as just a meaningless 2-minute scene of begging to be let in the house that make it the audience laugh. Karen, who would you cast?
We kind of talked about this before, and I have several people, but I'm a
go with your top one, because I'm gonna make it quick for everybody. So give me your top one.
Top one, I would love to see Cat Williams.
That's a good one.
Like that's my favorite.
That's a good one.
And he need to be dressed up as a pimp named Slipback.
Okay, well, okay, it might not fit the time period, but I'll allow it.
Thank you.
Because
Stack was a pimp. Stack was a pimp, so
yeah, he could be a pimp. He just, you know what?
Not a pimp.
Ruth will figure it out. Because she had all of them looking modern to me. Like they all look modern. Like honestly, they clothes look more modern than Jonathan Major's clothes. Like,
right?
I was like,
this is actual clothes.
Right, y'all could roll in to the Black Dandy place, and I'd be okay with that.
And fit right on in.
Mike, do you have a person that you
I know.
to see? Oh, Bassey, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say I know Jonathan is sick that he couldn't make it. He canceled himself before the Met Gala. I know he is sick.
Right?
He was like, I wear that every day.
He had his dandy outfit on the hanger.
Yes.
Just in case.
He was waiting for that call up. He was hoping someone got sick and they had to pull him up from the second string like a quarterback. Like, yeah. I guarantee you that he was ready. He was suited. Just holding Megan Good's hand tight as hell, just mad. What about you, Mike? Anyone you would have cast?
This woman. Anyway, I would say I have a funny answer and then a not so funny answer. Okay, I would say Eddie Murphy, because of his ability to have so many different voices. I feel like he would just
Vampire in Brooklyn.
Throw people and Vampire in Brooklyn.
Oh,
My off-kilter answer for also humorous purposes would be Shannon Sharp, just because I feel like his vampire accent, like, come on, but please, like he would just be doing a lot. Anyway, that's what it is.
Right? Yeah. Vampire. Lakers in 5. What about you, Bossy? What would you? Who would you cast?
The person first. I want to talk about Cornbread real quick. When he was asking for his money and his hand was over here, like give it.
That was so fucking funny to me.
So
can you believe Karen was shocked he tried to bite him? I was like, this nigga is moving like a biter. Every part of his being is I'm gonna bite you, and Karen's like, oh. Like, what? I told you. How?
I'm a scaredy cat. And when he reached, and all of a sudden his face changed, I was like, "The fuck is happening?"
I can't believe it. Karen was
when he. If you ask him for your money, he was like, "Give me my money." He was like,
"Right." Cause we out here doing, what we supposed to be doing. I was like, this
One big
nigga.
in the club, we're all fam.
He was really good.
Hilarious.
He was really good.
No, but my choice is Keke Palmer. My choice is
Okay.
Keke.
Fuck, that's
Yeah.
a good
That's
one
a
too.
good one.
Yeah,
She would be
it's
hilarious.
All right, so I'll give mine. People suggested a lot of good people. Kevin Hart,
Regina
Kenan
Hall.
Thompson was a good one. All the Reginas they
Mhm.
did. But mine is more serious, but it's way funnier than everybody else's. Jonathan Majors. It needed to be because it's on a meta level.
Ooh.
I just feel like we honestly, I'm glad they didn't do it because honestly, everyone would have had to leave the theater.
That would have made such a crazy statement. Like that's something that Kulik would do. Like that would be crazy.
Right.
I think
Could you
they
imagine
worked together in Creed, right? I think he
Yeah.
wanted. I think that
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors fucked up. Like he fucked up
'cause
anyway,
and
but he
may
really
have even
fucked up.
written a role for him.
Yeah,
that he was
not
like,
everybody
"Can't do it."
It's weird. I've never seen it like this for a black person before. I've seen it for white people a lot, but I've never seen so many people being like, "We need to get him back."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I've never seen those shit. Not for black people.
Yeah.
Because
They
he's
be like-
the truth. Yeah.
Everybody normally be like, "No, nigga, you know, you like this." The first time people been like, "And so we got a movie coming out next week." All right.
Yeah.
What about Mary, guys? Let's talk about Mary real quick. Something about Mary.
Something about Mary.
Aaron, do you have any feelings on Mary?
Mary was an interesting character because she represented a lot of people in the South that you present white even though you're not really white, but niggas know you, but you can't be on our side of town and you can't see us. You have to turn your nose walk past us because if you acknowledge us in any way other than telling us to get out my way, nigga, it becomes an issue. And it was one of those things where I believe that she loved that man and she loved him very dearly. And I do believe his thing was, I'm going to treat you bad just so you understand. It's not for me, it's for your protection. Go on out there with your white husband, live your best white life. But his thing was, I'd rather see you alive and out there than with me and dead, if that makes sense. And
Both
so
of us did.
Right. And so I think that after she got bit, I this just me. I think it was her that made the decision to go in there and bite him. Like
So you don't think that was Remick controlling her?
No. And the biggest reason why is because she could have bit anybody. Because you know, because if I'm a bite somebody, I could have bit anybody. But she was the only one
That's a good point.
that when she came.
She went for him
and asked. They was like, "Oh, Carl, come on in." You know,
but she went straight for him.
It's like you have this rule
because like we can be together, and that would make sense because even when they were under the thrall of Remick, they wanted to turn Annie because they knew that would help. That would get Smoke to turn. And then of course that would get Sammy to turn. So I think that's absolutely an astute observation.
And so in my mind, that's why I was like, oh, that was her decision and that's why she was like, we coming after y'all.
Right.
And it was more of, she meant y'all as a collective, but she actually meant like the other two.
Yeah.
You know, like in my mind, like she was like,
she ran out of there, which was funny to me. I was like, she's not going to turn nobody else.
I wanted to bring up.
That was her goal. Her goal was,
she accomplished her mission. Yeah.
Because she was like, if he's in there and they don't let him out, he going to get him anyway.
Yeah. Bassey, go ahead.
Just very, I forgot to mention this. Stack was in the juke. Like he had locked himself in the juke when the clan was coming. That's neither here nor there. But what were we talking about? Oh, Mary. Okay, people keep saying that Mary loved. I think that it was toxic. I think that they had like an attraction and a passion for each other, but because of the way that she was so, her privilege blinded her to like the realities and. She didn't care about, like, even in the wide open at the train station, she was not careful at all about his life or her life. So her turning him was, I think, a selfish act because she knew that he couldn't resist that. She couldn't he couldn't walk away from her if he did that, if she did that. And that was her only goal. Even her walking out there to talk to Remick and them, she was going after what he wanted, which is he wanted the gold. Like Smoke was all about the money. And she was like, if I get that money for him, he's gonna have to talk to me.
Yeah.
And then she fucked around, and they're not gonna do anything to me because they think I'm white.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she fucked around and found out.
Yeah.
She's the white liberal.
She's the white liberal, like for sure. And I definitely, I don't know, it's subconscious probably or very conscious. I didn't really vibe with her character. Like I didn't take enough time in the theater to get to know her. Like I was just like, oh, this, white people shit. You know what I'm saying? She being white, she all dangerous, reckless. They kissing out in public, knowing she can get this man lynched. Like, look at all reckless and abusive. That, and two, when she turned him, there was something about it that like they was going too long. Like everybody else just got bit. Like she was enjoying turning him a little bit too much. It felt like it felt toxic, Bassey. Like you said, toxic, like in the true terms, like how we think of a toxic relationship today. She was enjoying killing him in a different way than just like, I'm gonna make him like me. I didn't like it. And I didn't invest a lot in her character because it seemed like very typical to me. It seemed like,
as an MCU fan, seeing Haley Steinfeld act that way was like, that's when I had to be like, oh, she can act. Like that thing where you're like, that's totally different than when you play Hawkeye in the PG-13 TV show. Like, and she had the black like acting down to where like, those people where we can tell people are black, but white people can't tell people are black. That thing. Because like even at the train station, I was like, is she? Nah, I'm looking too far into this. He need to get away from that white woman. But later when they started telling that story, and shout out to Ryan Coogler, he would of course cast someone who was exactly the same racial makeup of the character. So, and which is, I don't know how that's going to affect their career because they have been seeing her as a white leading lady for a minute, and now these white people know that she's black, and I think some of us have had to like, if you shake the family tree, a Negro might fall out. But now we know it's confirmed. I hope it doesn't affect her career in any negative way, because I don't think she can make a career out of these roles, because she'll become the most hated woman in Hollywood if she did that shit. So
I didn't know like, so she's really has black 10 times down. I didn't know that.
She's got I think her mom is half black, or her grandfather. I think it's like her grandfather is half black. Something crazy.
Because Ryan Coogler ain't dumb and he know people are going to actually verify that shit. He made sure that he got somebody, because that's the shit niggas do. When you have somebody like that, people are going to verify to see their lineage. So he made sure before she got that role. Not trying to be funny, because he know how people are.
He covered all his bases. He covered all his bases, like all the left field, like where are the queer characters and where he was like, all right, that. But as far as everything else, he covered all his bases.
He's 100% intentional.
Something else I want to say about Barry, just like somebody else we know. One of the things that struck me about Mary too is that her being a vampire gave her permission to be wild. It gave her permission in a way that, I mean, I'm not racist, my grandfather's black type way, where when she was white, she was all like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to talk to them and they're going to, whatever. As soon as she became a vamp, she was wild. Yeah. She was fucking in closet. She was doing this.
I think that also goes into that feeling you're feeling about her relationship with Stack, is that even that felt like her wanting to rebel. It didn't feel like we need to be together as lovers, because he honestly had not really shown her love. It was him finally saying it at the party to say, but up until that point, he had been treating her like shit. Now, I will say that gaslighting shit has done that to many a woman. like a dude is clearly having, like, you can sense that they have deeper emotions than they're letting on, and they're doing the opposite, and it will fuck your head up enough to where you're like, I'm sticking around because I need the truth, motherfucker. Whether we're together or not, you need to fucking tell me what is happening. Because I don't think if they don't get turned to vampires, I don't think they're going to be together at any point. But I will say they're together in 1992, guys. So
but did you see the way that they were together? She didn't say anything. She was happy to be there.
Yeah, finally learned when black people are talking, shut the fuck up. And I appreciated that. It's a small thing, Ryan Coogler, but I saw what you did. Okay,
I saw her in that 1992 clip as a video girl, as
video vixen type.
The video vixen, like the start of the video vixen, the lollipop, the earrings, all that as what they were trying to, light skin.
Well, what I figured was they had at least 20, 30, 50 years of a few decades of therapy. It can get you in a good place. Like they have worked some shit out apparently being vampires together, because that's a long time, vampire or not, to still be together 60 years later. So when they showed up together, I was actually like, okay, well, that's they're happily ever after or whatever. But yeah, I much like y'all, I was not that pressed about Mary as a character, but I felt like the movie wasn't that pressed. It wasn't Mary's story. A lot of this felt like purposeful choices to be like, whiteness is not the key to this story. Like
exactly.
Race is happening. Yeah, how it affects white people, what white people think is not what we're asking in this story. I'll go through some fast ones because I know.
Really quickly though.
Yeah.
When the Oscar nominations come up, if she is nominated for best supporting actress and Annie isn't, or if they both are and she wins, I'm burning shit down. It's over.
We're not even.
It's over with.
We can't put that.
I refuse to even get pre-mad about that. They're gonna have to do that in real time. Smack me in my face.
Exactly.
I'm not spending another. What do we got? 7 months to the Oscars. I'm not doing 7 months of anger, but yeah, I stand with Bassey. If that shit happen, I'm going crazy. Grace. I feel like Grace's character has been misunderstood.
Grace.
Yeah, I feel like her character's been misunderstood in that a lot of people
nigga.
I think people think she's just there to be like Asian people are white people and racist to black people. Grace is clearly part of the community, and that's not made up. That's actual like facts that white people's racism meant they would not put stores in black communities. And they also would not frequent Asian stores, and they also would not allow Asian people to buy their shit. So it becomes a symbiotic relationship or whatever. They clearly went back, and I think it's Smoke that goes in there, and they clearly was cool back in the day before they even left town. Was ready for the juke joint shit. But it's always, if you notice, it's always a financial relationship, meaning like the money, they had to get the money right. And it was cute. Like, it was part of the lingo of the relationship. It wasn't like anyone was mad at each other, but like when he's like, well, how much for it? You gonna need a son? And it's da-da-da. So I think that's on purpose. But the main thing is, I think people feel like she let them in, the vampires in, because she was like, fuck these black people. And just from the way she killed her husband, I think she clearly was only thinking of her daughter. That doesn't necessarily make it okay. It just I think there's a way to interpret this as like Ryan Coogler wrote a bad character or a bad scene, like he fucked up, or he means all Asian people are trash or some shit. And I'm like, I think y'all are going too far. You don't gotta agree with her doing that shit, but her motivations were clear when she was set on fire and burnt and killed her husband, and they both went down. And like the only person she should have. I feel like she was saying the knowledge of where our daughter is dies to here. And I hope, like, I don't know what happens to the rest of you motherfuckers, but that, like, the pussy eating shit didn't matter to me, speaking in another language, but you threatening my daughter did it. And that does make her the weak link, because everybody else knew, like, there's nothing they can say that we should be.
Everybody had people though. Everybody in that room came from somewhere and had people at home. He
didn't call out any of those people. He didn't call out any. There's a reason they wrote it that way for her. Like, because they didn't say, Annie, you got a cousin. Like, they clearly were like, we that little Asian girl we saw earlier that was adorable, she's a fucking dead person unless you let me in or kill me. And that like I said, go ahead.
No, I gently push back on that, because I think she definitely represents
That part.
the concept of people of color who stop being people of color once it serves them to do something else. She's protecting her lineage. She came, Bo worked on the black side, in the black store. Grace worked in the white store. We
Right.
saw her leave the white store and walk over, and her daughter, Lisa, took her place at the white store.
Mhm.
Right.
When we had that flash to Lisa, she was looking out the window of the white store. I don't think it was a bad scene. I don't think that it was poorly thought out. If anything, I think it was fully fleshed out, and her giving her the grace of she was only thinking about her daughter. Cool. Everyone was still setting up. The doors were closed. We were setting up, and then she yells, unbeknownst to anybody around her, "Come on in, motherfuckers." It was going to be sunset in 10 minutes, and we were still getting, because I was there, we were still getting ready. Annie was like, do this, we're still doing this, we're still getting, nobody was prepared for when she said that, because she was only thinking about herself. I would agree with you had she let everybody get prepared to let them in. She just let them in
Well,
while everybody else was still gathering shit.
This is my retort to that. I think if it was supposed to symbolize like a people of color and joining into whiteness, which is the critique I've seen of this, like, well, Asian people, they get white when they want to be white. I think she joins Remick. That's the only way to make that allegory completely work. It was a selfish move made of love for her daughter. That's not necessarily a race thing. That's a character individual choice thing. Like, it's like they didn't do that to any of, it was what she was she decided to be an individual because it's Chekhov's fangs. Vampires have to get in the room for the third act. So this, I don't think the intent was to throw Asian community, Grace as a character. I don't think the intent was throw her under the bus as like another subset of like villainous person, or person that it was, or not even like the white people that from the clan that let Remick in. I don't think Coogler intended for it to be like that. I think people are walking out the movie hating her. I don't think that was Coogler's intention, and I think people took it too far with that. That's all I'm saying. That doesn't mean I agree with her choice or think it was a smart choice or a long-term choice. I have an empathetic understanding of like you were like, I think this is the way to save my kid, but I don't. But beyond that, as I said earlier, when he wasn't allowed in, Grace was part of not allowing them in. Like, it wasn't, I'm going to join whiteness. It was something else that you can also dislike.
I see it almost as a reverse, right? So I see it as it is a easy kind of trope and maybe a stereotype of like one of the high levels of like what racism looks like, to assume or to use the Asian character in that way. And based on everything that we've seen and what we've been talking about Ryan Coogler, like that's just too easy. But I think that for us as Black folks, the easy access to that part of the story is to blame, right? We're not to blame the Asian lady. But in reality, the devil here is still the white person, right?
Yeah.
And what whiteness does, Remick is the character, but what whiteness does is it causes us to infight with each other, even though like there is like, the black brown thing we've talked about recently with the election and all that. There's some truth in that for sure. Right. But our focus tends to be on each other and what these other people of color are experiencing, people of color. But the focus should be on the evil white man that knows.
As Delroy Lindo even said, like, he likes that analogy of this outside force causing the community to tear itself apart from within. And within the purposes of that scene and that story, she is part of their community, even if it's tertiary, even if the Venn diagram isn't a circle. The point was, this is a community, or else I don't think you have the Asian people in the scene where you're commuting to the ancestors. Like, I just don't think you get all that. If the purpose is for us to only see her as an outsider who betrayed everybody, I just think I don't know. That
But
would
I
feel
think
so.
I
I
think
don't think it's
whiteness
that.
though. I think whiteness though. The whiteness of it all understands that the black people may assume that the Asian is there's more of a proximity between white and Asian in the racial, in the racial oppression wars. And the white people know that, right? So they know that the black people are going to look crazy at the Asian person instead of us out here doing the Irish jig because they're in there with them. Right? And so like there's this, we understand, and sometimes the mistake can be that Asian people, this is all big painting with broad brushes, right? That Asian people sometimes become too akin and too familiar with the white experience and vice versa, right? Yeah. So it was an easy choice for Remick to be like, oh, I'm gonna get the Asian because you know what I mean. So the focus is still on the evil.
Speak her language. I think again, just like we've been saying all night, all things can be true. I don't think I as a person watching who was deeply invested, I didn't like what she did, but I understand it in the context of what the movie was trying to say and the micro and the macro sense. Something that I also want to point out is during the scene when Sammy is playing and you see the past, present, and future of culture, like one of the most incredible depictions of that idea I've ever seen in my life. But if you notice, when the Chinese dancers come, they're the same. We've seen them before. There was no like past, present, and future for them. And my interpretation was it's because Chinese people gatekeep the fuck out of their culture. You don't get to see anything unless it wasn't until the mid 60s or 70s that they were allowed to even teach martial arts outside of an Asian country. They gatekeep. So they don't have to constantly reinvent and have to give up something and then find a way to build it back up together. Everything that we saw as far as the dance, the music, the griot rappers, singers, all that is a result of the fact that Black people are constantly having to find new ways to express culture because the Remix of the world take it, bastardize it, and then refuse to let us have any access to it again. All of a sudden, Beyonce can't be country music because country music is white now. Right. All of a sudden, rock and roll is like all of these different things. But when it comes to Asians gatekeep. Their culture stays the same. They don't have to constantly reinvent or reculture or repurpose things to make it theirs again. And that's why I believe all that coming together with Grace, her working on the white side, I think it was just a matter of the politics of self-preservation. And the symbolizing of that is her being concerned with her daughter. I, as a viewer, was pissed off about it, but entering the world and the framework of what I think that Ryan Coogler was presenting in this entire universe, that's where I think that came from. They protect their culture, and she was protecting her culture, which is her daughter.
Karen, what were you gonna say?
I think for me, it's one of those things where it's a mixture of things because of Black people's interactions with Asian people and how they come into our community and box us out of our own community and sell us things for, you know what I mean? And we can't even have access to it. I think a lot of people bought that into this, and not trying to be funny, like they're bringing these internal things that are real. Not
despite whatever Coogler is expressing himself. Someone in the chat said they saw an interview with Ryan Coogler, said he has an aunt who's Chinese, who he loves deeply. I don't think he was portraying Grace as an interloper / outsider. But go ahead, Karen.
Right. So in my opinion, I really do, and so I get it. I understand these feelings, but the thing is, I'm looking at what was presented to me on the screen, like from my perspective, and from what I saw. Yes, it was selfish. Yes, it was fucked up, and I get that part. And the part was to kind of make you angry, like why did you let them in? Right. But also, She wanted to protect hers, just like the black people wanted to protect theirs.
It was selfish in the way that Smoke letting Stack live was selfish.
Agreed.
It was selfish in the way that that she was not seen. I don't think it was her, like, it may symbolize this. I don't think she was thinking as far as the symbolism of it. I think she was lit as a character going
in the moment,
throwing my life away. Like, this is a suicide mission for me. Like that, the true selfishness is that she committed everyone else to her suicide mission. She was like, she did not look at that as we're all getting out of this. She looked at that as like, we're dying and we're fucking arguing about what time to let these motherfuckers in.
Right.
Just do it. I'm gonna save my daughter. And I think the movie doesn't give, like, Remick doesn't try to angle with anyone else, so we don't get to see if a black person would have broken that way.
Right.
They may have, but Remick didn't. He he could have told Sammy, "I'm gonna kill your dad" or something. It like for some reason, and this goes back to Bassey's point. For some reason, Remick knew enough to know this will break you.
Yeah,
in a way that these black people will not break together.
Right, because they look at me as an enemy and they go, "We don't trust you, right, man." Yeah,
so I think that was a good point. But I just think the discussion around Grace is not what Bassey was saying. It's the stuff I've seen is just like, this what did I'm like, that what is he dumb now? He just dumb. So he made a fart movie, and then at this last minute it was just like, you know what? Fuck it, man. Fuck all Asian people, and clearly a villain. She's on Remick's side. I'm like, and nah.
Have we spoken to Delta? Have you spoken about Delta Slim yet? Did we just say
that was the next person I was gonna pull up? I have two more people left.
Go ahead.
Wait. Okay. Delta Slim, Karen, Bassey, Mike.
He was an interesting character. You looking at him, you go, you done been through some things, and you have seen some things, and you've lived a life, because basically when they come to him, he was like, why would I fuck with y'all? I know if I go over here, I'm gonna get paid. What is y'all really
guaranteed?
Right. Like I don't get this. And so I think that them offering him beer, I think that him actually hearing Sammy sing and perform, he was like, he knew that Sammy was something special. I think that's probably the biggest reason why he even agreed to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think him seeing his buddies on the side of the road and shit like that,
that
scene right there. It was almost like, keep your heads up, fellas, and he basically goes through the story.
Honest to God, that could have been so fucking corny. That is so like message, like that's that level of like intent, and tears. Like, it worked so fucking well. I was unarmored. It's like he ripped my emotional armor off of me. It was like, no, nigga, this gonna make you cry. This shit hurt. And I'm like, God damn, Delroy Lindo was able to do that to me. He better get nominated.
Yes, for something.
He better win.
And I just really enjoyed him, because particularly the funniest part was the shit with the garlic. He was like, that was like, nigga, we gonna have to kill you. He was like, no, I'm just joking. I was like, oh, don't tell me you won.
How he vacillates from like serious drama to like literally shit your pants comedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Delroy Lindo. What the fuck?
Yeah.
God damn, you good.
He was really,
since X. He's been one of them ones.
I believe
also in Crooklyn.
That nigga was a blues.
Yes.
Player. I do too. I like you was a blues player. Yes, you was, sir.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, I would just say also in Crooklyn. Karen, were you finished?
Go ahead.
I love Delroy Lindo as an actor. This is niggas from Brooklyn always got a connection. My dad used to knows Delroy, used to do acting class with him in Brooklyn, some Brooklyn Trinidad shit. Anyway, his character was amazing. There was a time, again, since recently, I think there's always something they call me red pill, blue pill. I don't know. I don't trust anything. And there was a moment where I didn't trust his character, where he was moving too funny, like he was moving too awkward. I really thought that he was a vampire at one point. Like, but
Me
like I thought he was able to do some otherworldly spiritual shit, and he was able to be in that space. But it was the alcoholism and the things that he's seen in his life that made him. Someone put in the chat. I was just about to say that Sammy's character and his character, they were simpatico. Like they both had some amazing gifts, and I think while Sammy's was his voice and singing, his character was storytelling, and almost like I kind of like it. Like he was like a rapper. Like he was able to use the gift of gab to tell stories and bring it in such a visceral way that I thought he was otherworldly. I thought he was sick or something was going on, but loved his character.
And the script clearly knows that we're suspicious of him when they do the garlic scene, right? Like, all of us are like,
I was like, I do it. But
they gonna have to kill old man.
But okay, Bassey.
It was him and Perline in that scene, because I was like, Perline's too much of a vixen, and what's going on with her? I thought, but one of the things, again, the way that I thought about the twins' father, Delta Slim must have been enslaved as well at his age during that time. He knows that world.
If not, he was at the end of
it. The way that he had the PTSD, battle scars, drinking is the only way I know how to get through this. Going from enslaved, knowing what it means to be enslaved, to being enslaved by a chain gang, like being like all these different elements that he had. And one of the reasons why I had such a visceral response to Grace walking out of that theater is because that man cut himself to draw the vampires to him to protect everybody else.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He did that. And I can't look at a Grace character and empathize with her, despite being a mother, despite all that other thing, when this old Black man who has probably seen more horrors than we can imagine cuts himself to draw, because he knows he's at the end of his life anyway. It'll buy y'all some time to do something, whatever it is you need to do.
To Delta Slim, to me, that was his community in that room. Mm-hmm. Like that's I think, to summarize the whole thing with Grace, I think that's the difference. Grace's community was not outside in that room by her daughter counted more than being with those people. Delta Slim, a guy who we literally had met just earlier that day, who had no real ties to anyone. Stack had the problem with beer to get him to go there. Clearly, he is they became his community in a day, and that is to me the ties of Blackness.
Mm-hmm. It's to me it was the symbol of the fucked up, damaged, yet still all about loving his people, elder. Like that's who he was. He looked like the most unreliable person.
Yes.
Like he looked like the person who like, oh, word, and be gone. As a matter of fact, when that fight happened, for some reason I thought he was involved. I don't know why. It just seemed like some shit he'd be involved in. But to see him, that level of bravery, that level of self-sacrifice, that level of empathy that he showed so often in those final scenes, it just was a symbol of Black elders and what they're capable of, despite all the I keep saying traumas, but the traumas and the wounds that cause them to be unreliable and easily dismissed because they're just drunks who sit on the street corner.
I agree with that. Like, it was real shit that got him to that point. I'll throw in some quick things about him because I think everybody went. I felt like that garlic scene is all about how easy it is for a community to lose trust with each other when the threat of white supremacy is at the door like that. Like, because everybody.
That's good.
It reminds me of I think at this point probably my favorite episode of Atlanta. It's a bit off the beaten path, but with the sushi restaurant one, and the dude was like, "Don't trust those niggas from Chicago. They're always trying to hit a lick. Like I was like, this is that was bars. I honestly started to wonder. I felt like he just needed to believe again. Like that's kind of what happened to him. Sammy made him believe in something again, and became like his, satchel to Jackie Robinson. Like where Sammy does go hit the major leagues, but he wouldn't be Sammy without this Negro League pitcher. When they show Buddy, I think his name is Buddy Guy. The late when that's Sammy in today. When they show that, I said, "Damn, he remind me of Delroy Lindo." Like they're like that man imprinted something on him. And the last thing about him, I wonder, it felt like if he never had as much trauma and had not turned to alcohol, I felt like he had the gift too.
I do too.
Oh,
without a doubt.
Without a doubt. The way that the scene that made me, like when I was just watching the movie, this is nice colors, great acting. The scene that made me sit up was that scene in the car when he goes from like humming sadly to like humming a song.
Yes.
That's when I was like, okay, hold on. Let me sit up because there's something happening here. I have to lean in. There's something
he recognized here. Sammy. I felt like the reason he even went with them is essentially he recognized that.
Like, I gotta see this.
Yes. Like he knew. He knew beyond.
He's like the old drunk or drug addict who always makes sure the smart kid gets to school. Always make sure that because he could have been something had somebody looked out for him. So he's looking out for that person. Yeah.
And in a way, he might be afraid of his talent. Like he might be afraid of what his power is. So he numbs it himself.
Because that story, that story is that, right? Like when he's like, we played for the police or whatever the fuck, and then they essentially did this stuff to us because they saw that fire, and the whiteness is a vampire of its own too. It's not all just Remick. That like this allegory extends beyond, which is why the choice to become a vampire felt so alluring when Remick made that pitch. Is because it's like it's fucking the same shit, except now I can live forever. Last two characters, I don't have much to say about Pearline other than she was just fine as shit. But I don't know if and also like I do wonder what's her husband up to the next day.
What is the husband up to? Does he even realize she's missing? Like
he's at home sad. He's sad. It's
1920. What is she even doing leaving the house at midnight?
She was like, he married
walking.
Like
she's probably at church. She's probably at church.
Maybe that's what. Listen, must have been a Friday night church service because
Deacon Pearline.
That juke joint look like it ain't open up till 10. Okay,
right?
She left the house at 9:15, walking in that dress, and he was like, "I guess I don't know. I need to."
And the memory of her was so good. Like 80 years later, he names a club after her.
That's crazy.
That man said, "Listen, okay, I know what I like." If anyone and I do, of course, her and Annie. Once again, I like that they have some dark-skinned love interests. I think movies like this tend to, a lot of times, the men who make them tend to get more obsessed about Mary's character. And I like that Mary felt like an afterthought because she essentially kind of is an afterthought when she comes off of romance. And Pearline and Sammy is the ones that they like, hey, this is what it is right here. As soon as she got off that train and cocked her head at Sammy, I was like, oh my God.
You looked at him like, little boy, listen, you really know what you're about to get into?
She turned and walked away. I said, how you have ass in a dress in 1920?
And then when she was on the stage singing and stomping, I was like, God damn, lady.
Listen, okay, I get it, Sammy. I would have, anyway,
I appreciate that Coogler included the idea of her asking to clean up first, that's such a real moment.
That's what made it more hot, that he was like, you're so, it's like when niggas say you're so fine I drink your bath water. He did that.
He was like,
he was like, I don't care that we're in 1920. I don't give a fuck right now. You that fine. And honestly, what sexier than that? A nigga truly like, I don't care if they walk in on me doing this. I hope they all see. Fuck it. And that's exactly what happened.
Didn't one of the twins tell him about that? I felt like
yes,
he had a conversation.
Yeah.
Was it with
He
Stack
said
or
that-
Smoke?
It was Stack. He went with Stack. So
Stack. Okay. Oh,
yeah.
that's right. That's right. He did go with Stack.
Sammy was taking notes. He put that guitar down, like, hold on, let me see this piece of paper real quick. So you
He
said
was like, so
it's like
you
a little
said-
man in the boat. Okay.
He was like,
Yeah,
got it.
right.
Got it.
Put that in the song. Name a club actor. Sammy, that's the last character.
Oh,
Thoughts on
my
Sammy
heart.
generally. I can't believe this guy's first acting job.
Unbelievable.
That's
unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the first movie first.
Unbelievable.
He was like a America's Got
Unbelievable.
Talent star or something. Not that show exactly, but
He comes from
That's
a gospel family, and he sang backup for her.
yeah.
Mhm.
And once again, like I said, I don't think Ryan Coogler was explicitly trying to make like Christian people feel bad, because a lot of the people working around this movie are Christian people that I feel like would feel personally fucking insulted if he was just like, yeah, so the point is to say this shit ain't real. Vampires are real. Hoodoo is real. Your shit is bullshit. So, but it was like spirituality of some type takes a form out there.
Yeah.
Is how it felt.
Yeah.
But Sammy, Karen, what did you think about this character?
I love that we see the movie from Sammy's perspective. I think it was probably the most perfect perspective versus, seeing it from the twins or seeing it from his dad or anybody else, because he was literally one of the youngest characters in the crew. And also, I remember when he was in the car and he started singing, and the twins said, "Woo!" And it was like our faces were the same, because it's like I didn't expect that bass to come out that body. I don't know if that makes sense.
Michael B. Jordan held it down for all of us and sitting in the theater that all had the same reaction to Sammy started singing. And what's even crazier is like, it's 2025. That just means he has to be good at singing, because all of us have heard that type. At this point, we turned that off. Like, if that came on the radio, we'd be like, Power 98 must be broke. I don't know what that is. We were all in the theater, seated, leaning forward, like, please don't ever stop singing, Sammy.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, just to hear that, I was like, God damn. I was like, that voice, I was like, it's something special about this voice. And for me, the thing where he was singing and everything kind of changed and it burnt down. I love the way it was shot. And I love Remick on the outside looking in.
Yes.
I love the fact that even though you had the current and you had the kind of the spirits and the ancestors dancing around them, it literally looked like one. It was like no separation between the two. Everybody's kind of moving around each other, in and out of each other and things like that. And it was gorgeous and it was beautiful. And it was one of those things. And for me, it emphasized the power and the authority behind his voice.
Yes.
And it made me understand why Remick was like, oh, I got to have that shit.
Yeah. They made that griot shit that they said at the very beginning, which I didn't dismiss it, but I was like, oh, it's a meta. It's like Jordan Peele when he puts like some shit at the beginning of his movies. I'm like, oh, it's some type of metaphor. No, nigga, they literally illustrated this is gift. Like, earlier when you thought it was gonna be an allegory for something. No, it's not an allegory. This shit make you feel like the future, the past, and everything together, and the music blended with the rap and all that shit. The Afrofuturism, like, God, take a fucking bow. I know you guys came up with two scenes first. You and Michael B. Jordan sitting in a room. There were two scenes that you said, we don't know what the rest of the movie is, but we have to make a movie. That's definitely one of them. And the other one is shooting up the Klan. Those are the two scenes them niggas was like, if we can get Hollywood to let us make this shit, and they cooked and they made it. I'm sorry, Karen, did you have any more?
And that was basically it, but it was just gorgeous, and it made me really... It made Sammy's choice at the end with his daddy more understandable. Yeah. Like after he went through everything,
and he didn't drop the guitar.
Yes, it made it more understandable. Yeah. Because when the twins threatened him, and he was like, "You're not here to stop me, so I'm gonna go do what I want to do." Type of thing. He
was as much committed to playing his art and as anyone was committed to anything.
Yes.
As Smoke was committed to Annie. as Remick was committed to turning everybody, like that motherfucker's commitment to that music. Whew, that shit was powerful.
It was something else, and I enjoyed that character.
Yeah.
Like I said, I enjoyed everything was centered around that character, and I think with his age and him being so young, it was just perfect.
Yeah. What about you, Bassey?
I can't say enough about Sammy. I thought that, first of all, Miles Canton, is that his name? Mm-hmm. Just was possessed. Like he there was something. I've been using the word like anointed and prophecy and prophet and all that stuff a lot. I'm not gonna tell you why. But I feel like he has the same.
We know why.
I didn't say it. He has that same, like, you were born for this moment.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything else. And I low-key wish you don't do anything else, because the way that Hollywood is, they'll have you doing some shit that is beneath your talents.
You be Michael Jackson.
But this was so perfect, and something that I haven't been able to talk about because it's hard, because I haven't figured it out, and I just want to throw it here. At the end of the movie, when you see the scars on his face, immediately I thought about like African scarification. And just about every group on the continent has some version of scarification. In Wakanda Forever, Killmonger had it to like mark his kills, right? But a lot of times, and I can't speak for other people, but those scars are very Yoruba. I'm not Yoruba, but they look very much like Yoruba scars. My people do it too, but I have these scars. I have on my wrist, on both my wrists, and the top of both of my feet. Like they're 4 like lines. And as I've gotten older, they've faded a little bit more, but they're like these very deliberate 4 lines on my wrist and the bottom of my feet. And for the longest time, like I've always had them. And whenever I asked, they're like, "Oh, we don't know. Like you fell." I'm like, I fell with 4 perfect marks on my wrist and both my, like, what do you like?
I fall on a Lego? What happened?
You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, cool, whatever. It wasn't until I went to Nigeria and I asked one of my aunties who'd been around since I was little. She was like, "Oh, you had malaria, and somebody did that in order to let the sickness out." Here's the thing. I literally, biologically, genetically can't get malaria. I have thalassemia trait. I can't get malaria. I've never had malaria. What are you talking about? Like, what are you saying? So what I kind of figured out and like put together is like, they did it right before I left for America. And a lot of these marks this is where you belong. These are your people. I can tell by the way, the length of them. I can tell by the depth of them. I can tell about the structure. This is your clan. These are your people. If anything ever happens to you, this is where they take you back to. And the way that people always say, "Oh, the Africans had slaves." Yes, but they also had, when you're free to go, you know exactly the roadmap of your existence is on your face. That's how you get back to your home. They haven't done that. It's very rare to see somebody my age or younger with the scars on their face, because colonization, religion, Christianity, everything. And that's the reason why nobody will tell me what these actually are, because they've been told and convinced that everything African traditional culture or religion is witchcraft, is demonic. So either you find a way to practice what you practice, but call it something else, or you stop doing it. Those are the only choices that Black people have: slavery, colonization. So when I saw the scars on his face and they mimicked that, to me, it's like, that's where he belongs. He knows where home is. He's moved. And this is me being really corny, and it's a reach, it's a stretch, whatever. Because it was only on one side of his face and so perfectly lined, to me, it was like African American. Like, you belong to both of these places. You belong in the past and the future and the present. You belong somewhere. You are someone who has a home in anywhere that you go. You can make a home, but this is where you're from. So anyway, I loved Sammy more than I can even express. I love the growth that he showed. I love the fact that he chose himself. I love the fact that he prayed before he killed Remick, because it means that he wasn't turning away from God. He, like Smoke, were creating their own God and their own religion. How can something that is so powerful that they want to kill me for it be against God? Like, how can that not be God? How can that not be a blessing? How can I not know that this thing literally saved my life, and now I'm gonna abandon it for
Right.
what?
Yeah, because I love that he wasn't like running to money and fame and fortune. That's not like it was like I just need to live in my gift. Like this is a thing I've been given, and I don't want to spend it boxed up inside this church, which is a dope motivation. Mike, it's your turn.
Yeah, of course I stand on and agree with everything everybody said. The only thing I'd add is that a lot of times in movies like this, especially like big blockbuster movies where he's like the central character, the character won't know or acknowledge how powerful they are. And maybe he didn't understand his power, but he knew his talent, right? And he was so confident about it. And you just don't see that with main characters. You know, if you think about the average movie, like, oh, what? I could throw a baseball really fast? Oh my God, I didn't know. What? You know, and he's like, he leaned into it. He knew it. Everybody else knew it. And it wasn't like, you know, there was no pride about it. There was no like bad pride about it. It wasn't
arrogance.
Arrogance, right. That's the actual word. But yeah, it was,
that pride makes sense though. I was picking up what you was putting down.
Bad pride. But no, I just love that about his character. And of course, everybody's talked about his voice. I didn't think it was real. Like, I didn't think that I thought he was
that good.
Yeah, I thought it was somebody else, or it was, you know, they were playing someone else's music. But just a phenomenal character. I love that he was a young man, you know, and a black boy for the most part in this role, and showed courage throughout. Just very intentional. Of course, it's Coogler, but all the things that he put into his character, I think was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think the only things I would add is I love the big cousin element of it, like making him the emotional center and making him. His agency was only in the art; it wasn't in anything else in the film. Like he wasn't a gangster. He wasn't violent. He wasn't even fighting off vampires. Really, it was. I mean, if anything, motherfucker was finna catch. Hey, he was finna die. Like I was like, hey, Ryan Coogler, boy, did he cut that shit close? Because I really was like, you would not let this motherfucker die, Ryan. Well, not after everything we done been through for Sammy, but brother, the sun's coming up. It's getting close. And then the last thing is for the music. I just think it was such a bold choice to not go with like nostalgic hit music or whatever. Like it wasn't, because I think that's such an easy thing to rely on, is like, you know, you just give everybody a song we already love and know, but it's the Jennifer Hudson version or whatever. So we're like, I love this character is the best. I'm like, we just are completely respecting his ability to sing. That's it. We're not a country of a lot of people that are into 1920s blues. Like we're just not. It's you know, feel how you feel about it, but yeah, I've been to basketball arenas. They don't just throw on those songs. You know what I mean?
Not.
So like, so that was a choice in this movie to be like, in a movie where they could have made it time travel-y. They could have been like, oh, when he plays this, it's really a metaphor for this. It was like, no, nigga, this shit hits.
The blues, right? That's it.
Like when he did the blues version of like this little light of mine or whatever, it's like, this nigga is good. He is good. I feel like y'all just filmed this because he's so good.
Right.
Yeah. Sure. And you know, he learned to play the guitar for the role. He didn't play the guitar before.
God. What?
He didn't play the guitar before. He learned to play for this role.
That's crazy.
All right. You better win everything. You better win everything.
I'll go around and ask final thoughts. We've been doing this over 3 hours. You guys got this much out of this, even though I promised not to. Karen, any final thoughts?
I don't really have any final thoughts other than I loved the movie. I enjoyed it very much. If you have not seen it, they're re-releasing it. And then they're going to re-release it again around Halloween.
Yeah, in IMAX, meaning it's still in theaters now.
Yeah, still in theaters.
It's not in IMAX. Right. If you want to see it in IMAX, I believe it comes back like the 21st or something.
And it's worth it in IMAX. We seen it in IMAX. It is gorgeous in IMAX.
Bassey, any final thoughts on this?
It's just, it's such a beautiful movie, and the fact that it works on so many levels, again, it's just a movie like this shouldn't work the same way that a certain musical artist should not be as big and popular as he is, but because because it transcends so many like levels and layers that everybody on every level and layer can probably get something out of it, and it sneaks consciousness into the mainstream, which is something that, I mean, we're all like basically around the same age. Who would have thought at our young, in our young ages, that things like this could exist outside of the little conversations we have in our dorm rooms or in our apartments late at night. Like this is huge, and I think that I hope that it ushers in the reality that your responsibility as a Black artist is to speak to Black people, and they can listen if they want to, but you're talking to Black people. You're making art because you love Black people, you love Black women, you love Black communities, you love us and our so much that the only way you can show us is beautifully and nuanced and in depth. So I just think it's a phenomenal.
It's important, and it's important
movie.
that it's Coogler, because Coogler's vision is like that, and I just feel like there's so many other directors who would have taken on a project like this that would have fumbled the bag so many different ways, and we would have just been talking about those fumbles instead of like this story and what it means. Mike, any final thoughts?
Final thought is, y'all know there's a theory there in music theory, right? There's like chords that you can play on an instrument that, if you're composing music, if you hit certain chords, it can evoke certain emotions. Like it's studied and tried and all that. And I feel like, similar to what Bassey was saying, like when it comes to Black folks, like as artists and creators, I feel like we are all searching for that chord for Black people in particular. And Coogler hit it. Like this movie is that chord that you play, and it's like, I always talk about this Donny Hathaway song. He has a song called Giving Up, right? And the first note, he just hums, and I'll just break down. Like I don't even know what the song's about. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you first hear it, because he's speaking to like the innermost, your sensibilities, like your gut, and that's what this movie was for me. And it's and I don't even like I don't like to be hyperbolic. I actually do, but I'm not being hyperbolic with this one. It's just such an amazing portrayal and collection of like pieces of art that speak to us. Is just amazing.
Yeah, it's just a perfect movie.
And for me, I'll just say, man, like this to me was everything about Black African American Black art. Like all the combinations that it took to create it, all the pain that it takes, all the joy that it gives, and all the ways that it allures other cultures and the things they want to do to it, to commodify it, control it, to hold it down, because even the Klan coming to destroy the place is a symbol in its own of like, like Remick wants to take it for himself, the Klan wants to destroy it, period. They're burning books in the schools. And so it's good, especially in a time like this, to see a Black creator that sees the moment. Man, he took a chance. There's another world where this just doesn't work out. So I'm very thankful for Ryan Coogler and the team around him, and just his worldview and the inclusion and the collaboration with the community. And by community, I don't just mean Black people. I mean the community. Like talent on this film is crazy. And the fact that he was able to do this outside of the studio system, as far as like not through Disney exactly, getting his own rights to his movie in 25 years, a movie about Black ownership. When like the CEO or whatever the guy is that runs HBO came out and used the words like, well, it's a movie about Black ownership, so no, we don't have a problem with him owning it. I was like, oh, Ryan Coogler walked in that room and put his dick on the table. He said some things.
Wow.
I didn't hear about that at all.
Because everyone was saying how like it's going to destroy the studio system, and then whoever runs Max or whatever HBO is called, Warner Brothers, that dude came out, was like, actually these deals are not that uncommon. They have happened before. Secondly, the theme of we felt it was appropriate because the movie's about owning Black art. I was like, oh, he told them. Like he didn't like look like
he's like, write this down.
Yes, some of my favorite
true.
people. Like I love Donald Glover. I get it. Y'all don't. I don't give a fuck. I love Donald Glover, but he tricked FX into doing Atlanta.
Yes, he did.
Like he didn't put them up on it. He just was like, I'm actually gonna make something about Black life in the South, and I'll tell you it's about a rapper. Yeah, 50 Cent. I don't know. Name. Who do you know? Who's your favorite rapper? Future. It's not Future. And then he went. Right. Then he went and made an absurdist take on race and love and everything in America. That's what this was. Not that. This was him walking in the room and going, "This is my vision." And they fucking said, "Where do we write the check for the money?"
Because even though,
and they also said they want to work with him in the future, which I mean, of course, but also like this is before they even was reporting the profit. This is when they were reporting if it needs to make this much money, and they was like, "Yeah, fuck whatever y'all said. It's gonna make what we need, and he'll be back." Karen, go ahead.
Right, and this speaks more of the white people that know where the money at, and the white people that's just talking. Because like all these critics and all these people who didn't know and didn't exist, somebody somewhere up there was like, "Hey, I see people talking about this," and they was like, "This movie gonna make money.
Yeah,
let's go ahead and strap him in for several other movies."
He made Black Panther.
Right.
What are we talking about? Creed. Like all right. Finally, can you guys tell the people where to find your podcast?
You can find our podcast.
Let me say something really quick.
Really
quick.
Go ahead.
No, okay, I'm not. I'm still going to throw it to you. I just want to say something else about the movie. Best director, best actor, best supporting actor, best supporting actress, best original score, best original. Like it. I want a clean sweep. I want it all.
And it's gonna be crazy
because this is a perfect ass movie.
It's gonna be crazy on Twitter around this time, because I'm telling y'all right now, this the one film every Black person did watch, and I don't even know what's coming out the rest of the year, but I promise you, they didn't watch the other films.
They did not.
So
and they might.
It's gonna it normally get crazy anyway when motherfuckers when like 6 of y'all saw Bill Street and y'all decided that's the one. I'm talking about 100% of Black people saw Sinners, and then 0 of them will have seen whatever the Holocaust movie of the year is, whatever the World War II movie of the year is,
they ain't gonna
whatever the rock and roll biopic is. It's gonna be real racial.
It is.
It's gonna be real racial.
They're gonna be
super clear. It'll be very clear.
There's a Black YouTuber. I saw the reaction to it. Who is like known in like the manosphere, and he's known to be like coonish, but he gets people whatever. He said he didn't like the movie. I've never seen a human being get attacked like this before. Like it's there to the point where even your favorite coon can't say they don't like it.
You yourself said you don't be going to movies like that. You've gone to see this movie twice.
I need to see it. I'm seeing it this weekend, and I'll probably see it again after that.
It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Prepare yourself.
Yeah, they watch this and nothing else
on your For You page. It's gonna be allegations of racism that will be. If I know the Academy, they will
costume design, best cinematography. Clean sweep. I don't want to hear anything else. Don't talk to me. If the gaffer loses, it's up.
And the Hollywood Reporter and the fucking Variety will do those anonymous interviews with white people in the Academy who are like, I don't even know what a Ryan Coogler is. I didn't see Black Panther because it had black in the title. It's like that. They're gonna put those out, and it's gonna be a fucking race war on Twitter. Honestly, God, like Caitlin Clark gonna have to come out and say something. It's just
you're calming them down.
It's gonna be bad.
Swift. We need the Swifties to come in.
They're gonna have to get what's the new Paige Beckers. Paige Beckers gonna be out there in her
she's too black adjacent.
Oh, you know she. Oh, yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. She gonna be out there in her 1990s NBA draft fit. And be like, and she gonna be singing Negro spirituals and talking about
now she's married.
How mad she is that the best grip didn't win. Like that, it's gonna be a race war. I'm side up. I'm just telling y'all right now. Choose up.
It's
up.
Pick a side.
I'm already telling y'all, I'm being very reasonable right now.
And on top of that, who, like Roger says, because we movie critics, who knows what else is gonna come?
I don't even know what else.
But it don't even matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter.
By the nature of the law of averages, some movie somewhere will do something better in some category than this movie. And I'm telling you, I'm picking this movie because I'm black. Just putting it out there. I'm not trying to debate it with you. I'm not even gonna, if you call me on it, I'm gonna be like, okay, and y'all pick white shit every time.
All the time.
Wes Anderson stay coming out with stuff.
Don't he though? The most quirkiest shit.
Okay, now Mike, tell him what.
Black Rob said the best nigga holding the boom mic.
Yep.
Period.
I want it. Best parking attendant. Let's go.
Somebody said best Barbara.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's funny, but those haircuts were.
Come on,
were
fire.
Right?
They was modern for looking old. They was modern for looking old. I'm saying.
Best building in a motion picture. I want it all.
Oh my god.
I want it all. We deserve it all.
We deserve it all.
Always.
It's not enough.
Oh my gosh. Well, I just want to thank you, Rod and Karen, just for having us on, providing us, this space and opportunity to chat. And I want to thank Bassey always, publicly, just, because you're dope and we're dope together. And
yeah, we're good together.
Yes,
we really are. And our podcast is called The Idea Of. All of our episodes are The Idea Of, and then, the content that we're talking about. You can find us anywhere you find podcasts. We're on Spotify, on Apple, and everywhere else. We will be, once we get our lighting and cameras straight, we're going to be on YouTube and IG. You'll see clips, and we'll be going viral and all that. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But no, just thank y'all. The Idea Of, and this is, we're kinfolks. We're cousins right here, the four of us. Like the way that y'all vibe. And I also want to say, Bassey put me on to you all, and I wasn't familiar, and I kicked myself so I'm back filling in all of the episodes. So I'm getting to know y'all in real time. I text Bassey about an hour before this show, and I was like, wait. Rod and Karen are married?
You sure you want?
I was like, what you mean? It just shifted, like the whole, like it's just dope. Like y'all
we met at a juke joint. Her husband was not aware she was out that night. It was crazy.
It was a wild night.
It was crazy. It was vampires and white people outside. But no, thank y'all. Really, thank y'all.
I'm glad y'all can make it, man.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, for being a great host, and thank you, Rod and Karen. Always. I really appreciate all of y'all.
We'll be back Saturday for feedback. I'm sure y'all have lots to say about this episode among the others, so that probably be long as shit too, but it is what it is. Talk to you then. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too. Mwah.
Woo! 3.5 hours.
How'd you hear that and not know they were married?
I'm leaving that in.
They was like super close. I was like, wow.
Listen, you know what, Mike? I feel you. Men and women can be friends. Okay. Okay.
Great
chemistry. Tell my friends I love them all the time.
See?